moments, talk about some of the best moments in the history of AEW Dynamite. And actually, we can do that in the hour before as well. But what I wanted to do is the same thing that we always do, and that is check out what is on the show tonight. So I've got the graphic lined up. Let's bring that on screen. And you can see right here, so 200th episode of Dynamite. We have got Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks taking on Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, and Satnam Singh. We've got Anything Goes match between Jon Moxley, Trent Baretta, and Penta El Zero, Medo. We've got Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship match, Aussie Open, taking on Vikingo and Komander. We are going to hear from MJF. We have got a face-to-face between Jack Perry and Jerry Lynn, which I'm a little out the loop because obviously we had technical troubles last week, electrical troubles, and so that meant that I didn't see last week's Dynamite. So I must admit I'm a bit out the loop here, or none of this kind of really makes a great deal of sense. Jack Perry, Jerry Lynn doesn't. I don't know what we're doing there. I didn't even know that Vikingo and Komander were in a tag team. I don't know why Kenny and the Bucks are going up against Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh. I don't know why we're doing an Anything Goes match, but that's not Dynamite's fault. That's my fault because, as I said, I didn't get to see last week's show, so I do feel a little bit out the loop here. So I'm sure this has had a good build. I'm sure that there's reasons for these things, but I am a little in the dark this week. But we've also got an AEW Women's World Championship match between Toni Storm and Hikaru Shida. We've got I do know about this one. This was actually made a couple of weeks ago. So obviously Jericho's been debating, trying to decide whether to join Don Callis's family, whether to join his faction. And this match has been made. So Takeshita and Jericho taking on Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia. So I am aware of that one. And as we said, we're going to be hearing from AEW World Champion MJF. We're in Tampa, Florida, so I'm sure it's going to be a good crowd as well. So that's the cards. Lots previewed. We have seen a few of these previews recently where they've not been giving us quite as much on the preview as this. We've kind of gone down to about 5 things, whereas here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 7 things listed for this week's Dynamite. So, yeah, a big episode, as we said. It is the 200th episode of Dynamite. And, I hope that you lot will feel free to share your favorite memories from Dynamite in the chat. What was your highlight, favorite match, favorite moment? And we'll talk about those as the evening progresses. Mitchell said the Anything Goes match was made because they're originals. The Elite match is random. Jack Perry made fun of ECW and Jerry Lynn came out. Mitchell, shout out to you. James said Jack Perry was talking smack about ECW. That's why the showdown with Jerry Lynn. James, shout out to you. I hope you're well. Elliot and family said, just wanted to let you know I went to the UK for the first time in June and it was amazing. Are you sure it was the UK? Are you sure that's where you say it was amazing? Interesting. That's not the UK I know. No, I'm joking. I got to discover a lot of my roots and stuff. I hope to see a dub stream today. Elliot and family, shout out to you. Oh, I'm glad you had a great time. I think you can have a great time in the UK, of course. I'm joking. London in particular, it's amazing. London, every time I go, just blows my mind. It's one of those major mega cities of the world, you know, where you just constantly looking around. I mean, I went to London. I said this the other day. I went to London for Wrestling Shop Live, and I wanted to go to the cricket. I didn't have a ticket for the cricket, but I'm a big fan of England cricket. And so I wanted to go to Lord's, the big cricket ground in London, or one of them. because that's where the game was being played. And I thought, oh, they might be selling some stuff outside, or I don't know. Someone might go, do you want to come in and have a little look? I just wanted to be part of that atmosphere because I'd been to Birmingham where they'd played the last game. So I went, popped by. And I've never seen the ground, Lords. So I popped by there. And it was pretty cool. There was people walking around. I overheard a few conversations, got a couple of selfies outside the grounds. I was quite happy. I could hear the roar of the crowd as like different moments were happening. And I think just to see like what you see on TV is pretty cool. But where my story is going is I walked down the roads and then I was on Baker Street, which is like Sherlock Holmes. And I found the Sherlock Holmes like shop where they were selling all the Sherlock Holmes merch. And like next door to it was like a Beatles London outlet. And so, like, you had all that as well. And then, like, around there is Madame Two Swords, which is, like, our waxwork museum where they do all the likenesses in wax. And, like, that's famous. So, like, that was there as well. My point is, with London, you go down a road, you find something else. You go down a different road, there's something else. You go down there, there's something else. Everything is just connected in London. Like, you just stumble across things. You can like the London Eye is right over from Big Ben, which is just down the road from Downing Street, which is just down the road from Buckingham Palace, which is not that far away from Oxford Street, which is just down the road from Leicester Square, which is not far away from Covent Garden. And it's amazing. London, you can just walk around and just find new things all the time. So yeah, I think you can have an amazing time in London. So this is not a wrestling stream, by the way. This is actually a Visit London, Visit UK stream. I am being sponsored by the UK to promote the UK internationally. So if you was under the impression this was an AEW stream or something, sorry. We're not doing that now. Now what we work for London tourism now. That's what we do now. So, but yeah, I'm glad you had a good time, dude. Aaron, hello, shout out to you. Said there was a lot of great matches. Eddie Kingston, CM Punk, FTR, Bucks, Brodie, Cody, Dustin, Cody. Was Dustin Cody? Was that Dynamite, or was that like or was that pay-per-view? Trying to think if it was a Dynamite. You might have snuck in a pay-per-view. It might have been something in my head is saying Double or Nothing, but I don't know. I'm quite happy to say I could be wrong there. Don't know. I'll let you have it for now. For now, I'm watching you, Aaron. Elliot said, I went to Birmingham. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry to hear that. I'm glad that you got out. In London. I never knew how popular WWE was. The atmosphere was awesome. But why the heck was it so cold in June? Well, do you know what? Actually, this has been a really bad summer for us. A really bad summer. We actually broke our all-time record for the hottest day I think we've ever recorded last year. And, I mean, it's well documented, isn't it, how hot the world is getting and climate change and all that stuff. We have very much felt that here. And we're at the point now where in our summers, you can easily get burnt. I mean, in fact, I did get burnt at the cricket during the summer about 6 weeks ago. I went to Birmingham to the cricket, as I said. I was sat outside, and I mean, I was red. I was like a beetroot. I'd been sat outside all day in the sun, and I'd managed to get burnt. Certainly my neck, and like on my arms and everything. So, and I was saying this during like the stream. I was like, I don't remember ever growing up in the UK and getting burnt. It just wasn't a thing. Our weather was not intense enough for that to happen. And I used to play down the park all the time. Come rain or shine, I would be playing football. And I just don't remember. I cannot remember ever getting burnt in the UK. Whereas now it seems to happen, or it could happen, like every year throughout, like, you know, a good few weeks, 3-4 weeks in the summer. I mean, it's only really like, you know, peak of summer. But yeah, we haven't had much of it this year. It's been a really, really bad, wet, damp, kind of gloomy type summer. I think they were saying it was something to do with like the air movement, and I don't know. Last year it hit us. This year it just went underneath us. So it was kind of hitting Spain and France, and so as a result we were getting like cooler temperatures. So yeah, it's you picked it. You picked the wrong year. If you wanted good weather, last year was great. And I think they're saying next year might be another good one, but we'll see. Arturo said, I'm going to SmackDown in October when it comes to town. Austin, hello, shout out to you. Aaron said, Cody Brodie was on Dynamite. I remember MJF, Sammy Guevara was a banger. Danielson, Kenny as well. I got burnt in Scotland. Burnt in Scotland, you're joking. I'm not in Scotland. I mean, could you get burnt in Scotland? Probably not. I don't know. Actually. I don't know what the weather's been like in Scotland. But here in the Midlands, it's, well, as I say, this year it's been a bit gloomy. Mitchell said, I'm really worried about the USA women's team against Sweden. I said before, and I stand by it, I think once you get to the knockout stages, it becomes a different game. We've seen this with England where they can really struggle in the group stages or not look that great in the group stages. And then when it gets down to a game where you have to win, otherwise you are going home, you know, teams that have got that kind of quality just find the ability to, you know, dig that bit deeper. It can also like galvanize a team. So, for example, in a group stage where it's like not must win, then because, you know, again, even against Portugal, USA didn't have to win that. A draw was always going to be enough. Whereas now, there are no draws, are there? You know, if it's a draw, it's going to penalties. And, you know, that kind of thing can just galvanize a team. So, yeah, you're certainly not looking as dominant as what you have in the past. But football is very cyclical. You know, it's when a team kind of comes towards the end of its time, you can see there be a bit of a time that it takes to then bring in the next crop of players. So I've no doubt you'll be a force again. And who knows, you might even go on to win this World Cup. Who knows? I mean, honestly, I don't put any stock into the group stage results other than did you get out the group? That's it. Did you manage to get out the group? Yes, you did, right? Might not have been as crazy as you wanted. You might not have finished first in the group, but you got out the group. And now it's just you and your opponent head to head, everything on the line. Whoever wins goes through, whoever loses goes home. So this is what it's all about, innit? No easy games at a World Cup. Someone said, how far away from London do you live? Well, it's a bit tricky because I don't know it in miles. I always know it by train times because I always tend to jump on a train when I'm going places. So for me to get to London would take me about 2 hours, 10, something like that on a train. I'd have to change a couple of times. I could actually go just down the road to, I think, Stratford's. And that's a direct train to London. And I think that's around 2 hours. Maybe just under 150, something like that, maybe. And that'll just go straight into... where would it go into? Euston. London Euston Station. So, yeah, I kind of know it by that. I mean, you've got to remember, the UK and certainly England's not very big compared to, like, a lot of your states. A lot of the actual, you know, we are very comparable to one of your states, and so like it's not a huge place, this place, but it's very rich with, you know, culture, and we've obviously achieved a lot over our history, and good and bad. And so obviously, you know, there's places of interest and things of interests everywhere. You know, we're very rich in history, aren't we? Brandon English says, how did you hear about Buddy and Andrade? It was epic. No, I didn't. Was this on last week's Dynamite or Collision, or what was that? What was that on, Brandon? What show was it on? And why was it epic? Thank you. Right, we're singing away. We need another beer, said Miss Clown. Oh, yeah, definitely. I had a great time. I've said it so many times, but I really did have a great time with Miss Clown. It's one of those where when you get to the end of the evening and you've had like a really fun chat and just really, I mean, it was so chilled in that pub that me and Miss Clown were in. So chilled. I was so comfortable. And it was just a case of like, man, you know, I could have chatted for another 5 hours. Easy. No exaggeration, you know, easy. And I tell you what, if the cricket had been on the TV, in fact, that's probably my dream day. That's probably my dream day, is to go to a pub at 7. Yeah, we just had some lag, which hopefully is resolved now. We do have several routers that we can use, which we can just change over to. So if we do get any issues, shouldn't be a problem. So yeah, what I was just saying is I think my dream day would be to go to a pub super early, about 10 o'clock in the morning, have like a breakfast, then start drinking pretty much straight away, because I think they serve from like 9:30, maybe 10, something like that in the morning. Quite happy to start drinking as a one-off, right? I'm not someone that's like a big drinker, to be honest, but as a one-off, as a special day, I could go to the pub, have a breakfast, have a early beer, and then the cricket will start at 11. Watch England. Doesn't really matter who they're playing. If it's Australia, that's better, right? Because that always is the best matches, but I'll watch them against anyone. Normally that tends to finish about 6, 7 at night. And then, like, you know, you'll be, if you've been drinking all day, you'll be, you'll be in a pretty good place by that point, wouldn't you? And then you, I don't know, God only knows what you'd end up doing then. I mean, sloshed, like, not trashed. I wouldn't think you'd be trashed, but like, you know, merry, very merry after 9 hours of drinking, having watched the cricket all day. Well fed as well, you know. You've gone back to the bar. You've had plenty of gone back to the menu a few times. Like, you know, oh man. And then who knows? I mean, maybe a club would come up. You know, maybe it'd be like, should we hit the club at like 11? Or who knows? You might be like, let's just stay here and drink till they kick us out at like 11:30 at night, or go to a different place, or go for a meal. Probably wouldn't want a meal at that point, though. Don't know. God, the world would be my oyster. That's like that's a dream day, that is. Brandon said it was on Collision. It was a ladder match for the mask. Brandon, shout out to you. I'm glad you enjoyed it, my friends. Sakilla says only AEW Collision is good. Dynamite is nah. What's my name? Oh nah. What's my name? Exclusive Target 4-pack has Big Green Hogan and more. Yeah, man. The fact they're making that big green belt is so exciting. So exciting. So, Johnny said, yes, I'm wrestling tonight. I want to make sure that I'm keeping up with... Oh, don't forget tea and crumpets, says A.B. Jobson. Do you know what? All right, I don't mind crumpets. I've grown up with crumpets. Crumpets are something that we do have. I mean, that's not just like a stereotype thing. Like, we do have them. I used to have them a lot when I was young, and we would go to a car boot in the morning. So say I'd been at school all week, right? And so then obviously you were off on Saturday, Sunday. Early on a Sunday morning, we would get in the car, like 6 o'clock in the morning, get in the car, go to a field, right, where there would be hundreds of cars. And they would, in front of their cars, have a little table with stuff they're selling on, and it would just be row after row of people selling stuff in the front of their cars. They're I don't know that you have them in America, but they're called car boot sales, and they happen every Sunday, sometimes on a Saturday, in loads of locations all over the UK. Think of it as eBay before eBay, right? You never knew what you was going to find, though. But, I mean, I used to get, like, wrestling videotapes. I used to get wrestling figures. I used to get wrestling magazines. You know, you can find old plates and, I don't know, glassware and nails and toys and just everything. Anything and everything is at these kind of car boot sales. So we used to do those, but then when we would get back, which would be about 1 o'clock, by the time we got back, and I'd have a little bag of my goodies. Probably spent about £5, not loads, $5, whatever. But I had a little bag of wrestling videotapes, little wrestling figures, right? I mean, once I found like a beanbag chair that was £1, something like that, and it was like WWF, and it had like Hulk Hogan. It was blue, and it had Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior and Macho Man, just the same pattern repeated like all over it. So, I mean, it was just a great day because I went back home. I put a video in. Don't know what it was. Let's say Survivor Series 1991, right? Something like that. Put the videotape in. I sat in my beanbag chair that I found, and I would then have some crumpets for lunchtime. That is a life I actually used to live. That's not like a dream or anything. That's a life that I lived when I was growing up. That's what it was like being English. It was great. It was great. I miss those days. So, but tea is not something I've ever really been into, to be honest. Well, I have had tea, but yeah, I feel like the tea thing is very true. And like my mom and my dad and my grandparents, they just drink loads of tea. Tea is still massively popular, but coffee has definitely made some serious inroads because of the caffeine. And in this day and age, we all need that caffeine boost, don't we? So, yeah, it did make some serious inroads. I mean, I drink coffee all the time and never, ever, ever drink tea. And to be honest, I haven't had crumpets in a long time either. Like, could go for a crumpet every now and again. Brandon said, thoughts on RVD versus Jack Perry if it happens? Great. Yeah, if you can bring in someone like Rob Van Dam, a legend of that caliber, then I think that would be really cool. I think Jack Perry needs to establish this new heel persona that he's got. Obviously, we saw him burying Jungle Boy and moving on now to this new persona. So the Jungle Boy persona is done. He's kind of shed his formulative kind of years, if you will. He's got rid of his prototype kind of phase. Now he's moving into, I think, the phase that he'll probably be better known for. And so now he's got to really make this work for him, and he's got to find ways of like really healing it up. And it's going to be interesting. I mean, I don't know if Rob Van Dam is going to be a good opponent for that. I think it'll be a good match. I think that Rob Van Dam is really well loved, and it's a good opponent in the sense of Jack Perry will absolutely be the heel. The crowd will be all over him, and the crowd will absolutely love Rob Van Dam. I'm just trying to think. Like, I haven't seen Rob Van Dam wrestle in a long time, so I don't know if it's the right opponent in the sense of, is it going to result in a really good match? I'm not sure. I haven't seen Rob Van Dam in forever, so I'm not sure. Because of the ECW thing, he's got something he can get his teeth into. He's got something that he can have a conversation about, like, can go to town with. So, I mean, from a promo point of view, he's got something to work with. In-ring wise, I don't think it'll be a disaster. I just don't know kind of where Rob Van Dam is with his like cardio, his movements, because these things catch up with everyone, and Rob Van Dam is getting on in age now, isn't he? So, but I think he's all right. I haven't heard anyone say like that he's needs to retire or he's just a wreck, in the ring or whatever. So I think that side of it will be okay. But I mean, I feel like this is more for the hype than it is for anything else. I feel like it's more for the buzz, the fact they're going and getting Rob Van Dam, the fact that like it might bring in some casual viewers. I feel like it's more for that than really anything else. I can't say it's going to result in a banging match. I don't even know if I have that much confidence in Jack Perry as a promo. I mean, Jack Perry as a promo has never blown me away. So I can't say it's going to result in great promos. But I think what I can say is that there's definitely something there for him to get his teeth into. Definitely something there to bring in casual interest. And it would be a feud that would be worth pursuing. So, yeah, if it did happen, it would make sense. There would be a benefit and a reason for it. But I think we would get better matches and maybe better promos against other people. But as we said, that's not why you would do it. That's not why you would do it. Is that where people are thinking that it's heading then, Brandon? Do people think this is building towards Rob Van Dam versus Jack Perry? So that's interesting. I guess it's good show to come off Raw in last show on Friday. Days, how are you? I'm good. McAvoy Productions. Shout out to you, my friends. Shout out to you. I love Rob Van Dam, but he is ancient, says A.B. Jobson. Hearing rumors, we will get our first few matches for All In announced tonight. Funny you should say that, actually, because I heard, was it Bubba saying that he wouldn't announce a single match. He said he wouldn't announce any matches for All In. And my first reaction was, you can't do that. Can't do that. Because, like, don't you need to, like, hype people up? And, like, but the point he was making is one that I get his point. His point was that, well, you've already sold the tickets. People are going, right? And because of the size of the show, that alone should get interest. Like, people should want to tune in to see what they're going to do. So if ever there was a show where you didn't need to announce the card, this would be that show, right? I think it's a pay-per-view, though. And I do sort of feel like, well, yeah, you're going to get the fans that are interested in AEW. I understand that, right? They're going to tune in because it's their biggest show. You may get even a bit of passing interest from people that don't normally watch because it's Wembley, it's 70-odd thousand. You know, I get that. But are you not potentially leaving money on the table if you don't announce matches and superstars that people could see? Like, don't you need to be shouting about CM Punk? Maybe you can still shout about CM Punk will be there against a mystery opponent or something like that. I still feel like you can't just not say anything, and certainly not for a pay-per-view, because I think you're leaving money on the table then. I think you're leaving money on the table because you'll get your AEW fans. I think you'll get a little bit of passing interest, but I think the money that you're leaving on the table is the casuals that are brought in by the matches. Like, oh, I really want to see that. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it because MJF versus CM Punk. That's gonna be a banger, man. I really do want to watch that. Like, I feel like that you could be missing out there. I don't know. It's one that we won't really ever. I certainly don't think it's the worst idea I've ever heard. Because I do get his point of you've already sold the tickets, right? People are not going to just not go now or ask for a refund because you haven't announced the matches. You make it obvious that all your big stars are going to be there, and but you just don't announce the cards. I don't know, man. I mean, a lot of me likes it because I've never seen that. And so that would be really different. Like what are we going to see? Who are we going to see? How you know, that I would be intrigued by that. It'd be brave. It'd be really brave. And certainly for a pay-per-view. But yeah, I don't know. That was just an idea that he had, but he was very passionately defending it. I don't know. I couldn't tell if it was a good or bad idea. My gut reaction, I think, is I still wouldn't do it, but I liked hearing him talk about it. Mitchell said the other rumored match is Jericho versus Ospreay. Is that a sad face? Oh, it looks like a little vomit face. Mitchell, shout out to you. Please don't throw up in the chat, Mitchell. Austin said Cody can finish the story with literally anyone, Randy or Drew, Jay's story is once in a lifetime. It will never be replicated again. Godfather's host said, Days inhaling that in your house, not the pay-per-view. This stuff makes you want to stay inside. AEW tonight need to start the Wembley storylines. You've got to build this bull stuff up. Mania 41, RIP, AEW. Thanks. Godfather's ho. Thanks. Are you excited for the Anything Goes match tonight? No, to be honest, because I've missed the build. So to me, this is random. So, you know, Jon Moxley is someone that I should enjoy because I love that let's go, anything can happen type brawler. Like, I want to feel like I'm watching something. And with Jon, you would definitely say you feel like you're watching something. He gives his all. But I just find his striking to be a little sloppy. I just find his selling to not be very good. I just find his constant bleeding to be like a real distraction. There's just things about him that just stop him from being someone that whenever I get asked, what do you love? Like, who do you love in AEW? What do you love about AEW? There's just a few barriers that I have with Jon Moxley. I don't hate him. I don't hate Jon, but Jon is someone that you have certain superstars that when they're in a match, you get excited for that match. Like if Jamie Hayter was on the show, I'd be excited. Any match that Jamie Hayter's in, I'm going to look forward to because I really like watching her compete. I don't quite feel that with Jon Moxley. Trent Baretta, is really good in ring, but he's got very little star power and buzz around him for me. So there's, again, Trent Baretta in a singles match as well. It's not even best friends. So we're taking a tag team guy and putting him in this match. And then Penta, I just can't stand. I really don't like. I just, doesn't sell anything. Moves at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Just move after move after move. That's not the style that I look for. It's a big part of AEW, and it's a big part of what I don't enjoy about AEW. But that is something that's personal to me and to some of you as well. I'm not saying that he is wrong, right, or that it's garbage or anything like that. I'm not shooting it down. I'm just saying that I am very comfortable, right, with what I enjoy and what I don't enjoy. I know what that is, and I know that Penta is not in the category of things that I enjoy personally. But for many people, they do enjoy the Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros and that style of wrestling. So this is my fault. Right, I'm doing a lot of holding my hands up here. Right, I'm doing a lot of this is my fault. Haven't seen the build for this match, so to me, this is Jon Moxley, who I'm like, Trent Baretta, who's one half of a tag team, and Penta, who I have no feelings towards at all, competing in a random anything goes match. So it's very difficult for me to look at that and go, oh yeah, I'm super pumped. I'm super pumped for that. But I got told that it was 3 original AEW superstars. That's why they're in the match, competing, because it is the 200th episode. So, we'll see. I will watch it and we will see how it goes. I'll tell you the one thing that I wanted to do, though, is I wanted to have a look at this. This is an article that might spark some debate. This is ranking the 10 greatest moments in AEW Dynamite history, right? So obviously it is the 200th episode. And so they are ranking the greatest moments. So I thought what we could do is just spend a couple of minutes just going down this list. It's Bleacher Reports. I've already seen the first one, right? And let's kind of see what we think. So feel free to put in the chat your thoughts on this. So the first one is Dinner Debonair, right? I will go on record as saying this, for me, is one of the worst things I have ever seen in any wrestling show ever. I thought it was atrocious. I thought it was one of the worst. I said it at the time, and I will say it now. I think that if I was doing a top 10 worst things or worst moments, this would rank very high. For those that never got a chance to see this, this was MJF trying to figure out if he wanted to join the Inner Circle, right? So they went to dinner to try and work out if MJF was going to join the Inner Circle. That was the premise. So they sit down to dinner and we get to watch what happens. Because they're not quite on the same page, they are kind of one-upping each other in the early stages of this, which was kind of fun, right? I was down for that. A little bit of like, you know, I want a steak. I want it, you know, the biggest you've got. No, I want the biggest you've got, blah, 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 blah. And they were trying to like one-up each other. And then during the middle of the dinner, they start to drift into a song. I'm not making this up, right? And then the background parts, they get up and they launch into a full-on routine, right? A full-on song and dance routine. And a massively divided opinion. I think you've got, for me, it's still real to me, damn it. It's still real to me. That's my problem. It's still real to me. So I'm sitting there trying to, you know, is he going to join the Inner Circle, right? Fast forward a few minutes later, I'm watching them singing and dancing together in like with choreography and harmonies and that have clearly been worked on together. So it didn't make any sense. Like, it didn't make any sense. And I remember at the time, like the kickback I was getting was people going, "Yeah, but it's fun. Sometimes wrestling is fun. This is just meant to be fun." It's like, no, we're meant to be deciding if he's joining the Inner Circle or not. That's what we're doing, isn't it? Isn't that the whole story that's being told at the moment? Like, if you want to get into theatre studies, which I did, I'm all for Brechtian theatre, which is designed to kind of break that fourth wall. It's designed to kind of remind the audience that they're watching a play. So rather than like you going to a play and getting lost in the narrative and the story and everything, Brechtian theatre will just stop the performance and literally talk directly to people so that it breaks that illusion, breaks that fourth wall, right? This had a feeling of that where I'm watching a story and I'm watching to see, is he going to join in a circle? And then all of a sudden we break that and we go into a random song and dance. And I was like, it just didn't fit. It didn't fit. It didn't make sense. I don't know why we did it. I think that there was loads of criticism of this at the time, but I do have to say there was praise for it as well, because, you know, there is a large part of the wrestling community that's very much like, but wrestling is fun. Wrestling's about putting a smile on your face. It's about forgetting about your worries and just, you know, going with the flow. And this brought a lot of joy and put smiles on people's faces. And for that, it should be applauded. Not my argument. I think it's trash, but that was the argument of the alternative opinion. Okay. And if you just have a read here, it says it got fans buzzing across social media at the time, so it did its job, if nothing else. I mean, all I would say is you could have two babies punch each other in the face. That would also get people talking on social media, but it doesn't mean it's good, does it? Just saying. Although I would watch it. And it remains one of the more surreal segments in AEW history. Wrestling purists lightly hated the bit. And even some who are not traditionalists probably did not understand why or how it made air. I'm still wondering. But it was such an odd, curious little segment on a show that one could not help but have an opinion on it. That's it. That's it. That's how we're... That's it. That's our justification for this moment. Well, you had an opinion on it, didn't you? So it must be top 10 greatest moments. Listen, we're not going to hate on all of these things. I'm sure there's going to be some great moments that are coming up. Genuinely, this was trash for me, right? Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker go lights out now. Is this where she gets busted with the nose and all that kind of stuff? Because do you know what? When I thought about what are my favorite AEW moments ever, this match was the first thing that came to mind. Genuinely, the first thing that came to mind. And I don't even think it's my favorite thing of Dynamite, but this was the first thing that came to mind. It added legitimacy to the women's division that was so under fire to say not only it's the best match in our women's division or women of wrestling, but all of wrestling. That's pretty cool. Hang on, what? Hang on. It added, yes, I agree with that. To say it's not only the best match of our women's division, I could go with that. I could go with this being the best AEW women's match. I could go with that, right? Okay. Or women of wrestling. I don't think anyone's saying this is the best women's match ever, right? But all of wrestling. There ain't no one on this planet saying this is the greatest wrestling match ever. Is that what she's trying to imply? Who is this? Is this Britt? Baker spoke to Busted Open. Let me read this again. Hang on. It added legitimacy to the women's division that was so undefined. I agree with that. To say not only it was the best match of our women's division, I agree with that, or women's of wrestling, I don't even understand what that means. But all of wrestling, that's pretty freaking cool. I would have. I don't know. I don't know what she's trying to say. I don't know if she's trying to say this is the greatest wrestling match that's ever happened. If she is, she must have got hit pretty hard during this match, to be honest. But I agree it's the best AEW women's match. There might be other people that throw in some alternatives, and I would definitely listen to that. I would definitely listen because I think there has been some really great women's matches. But as I said, this one really stood out to me, and it's the first thing I thought of when I thought of Dynamite. 2 years later, the division still faces issues with its booking from a lack of television time, blah, 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 blah. Still, despite the issues, Baker and Rosa sent a message loudly and clearly that the women in the company can deliver the same type of physicality and hardcore content that the men can. And in this case, do it better. It stink. This is cool. Yeah, I agree. This was cool. So Sting coming out. I love Sting. I think with the snow falling down and all of that, this was cool. AEW is a promotion that has made a reputation out of surprise debuts. Sting has always been treated like a legend and loyal in partnership with Darby Allin since day one. Yeah, not too much to say about it. I'm trying to remember if we knew that he was coming in. Don't think it was a complete, oh my god, it's Sting, we didn't see that coming. I think the fact that it was at Winter is coming, and I think there'd been rumors Sting was coming in. I think it was one of those that we sort of knew was going to happen, but it doesn't take away from it. It doesn't take away from it. It's still really cool seeing him come in. So yeah, I ain't got an issue with that. Omega wins the World Championship. On the same episode, oh, that's interesting. On the same episodes in which Sting made his shocking arrival, Kenny Omega stunned the wrestling world with a heel turn and an alliance with Impact Wrestling's Don Callis. It netted him the AEW World Championship. I liked him being champion. I'm a big fan of Kenny as a singles competitor. As I said, I'm not a big fan of like the Lucha Bros, Young Bucks and everything, so I much prefer to see Kenny on his own. I think putting him with Don Callis was a great move. I think him as champion looks great, works. I think he should have been champ more, but saying that, he's had a lot of injuries, hasn't he? The vertigo and everything, so yeah, I can go with that. I can go with that. No problems. The promo that ignited a brawl. Ooh. When Hangman and CM Punk took center stage for the go-home promo ahead of their bout at Double or Nothing, few could have imagined it would have reached the far-reaching consequences that it did. Punk berated Page, Kenny, now infamous rant that would give way to a very real backstage brawl. Not a pleasant moment for Dynamite, but given its place in history, the promo segment has earned a place in most significant moments. That's interesting because I haven't got a problem with this moment, but is it... I feel like we're getting a bit confused because they're saying not a pleasant moment for Dynamite, but given its place in history, it's earned its place amongst the most significant moments. That's not this list, right? Let me just go back to the top. Ranking the 10 greatest moments, not significant moments, greatest moments. Like, I don't know that qualifies as one of the great moments. I've got a problem with it being here, but I just think if it's going to be here, they probably could have justified it a little bit better than what they did, because they're saying that it's not a pleasant moment for Dynamite, but it's one of the most significant. Does that make it a great Dynamite moment? I'll leave that for people to debate. I don't think it would make my top 10. The plight of Cody Rhodes. What's this? MJF has got a way of making babyfaces go through hell. This included 10 lashings. Rhodes removed his shirt and allowed MJF to mercilessly whip him. Wardlow still loyal, blah, 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 blah. It was an uncomfortable segment to watch. Highlighted two very different characters. It was cold. It was calculated. Great bit of television. I can't remember how I felt about this, you know. Can't remember how I felt about it. Wouldn't make my top 10. Definitely wouldn't make my top 10. I remember there's something niggling at me, and there was like, I can't remember what it was. There was something about this segment. There was some good stuff. I mean, it was brutal. And I remember him having marks all over his body. There was some little niggle there that I can't remember what it was. I'd have to go back, rewatch the segment. This is not one that came to my mind, though. So, not for me. Blood and Guts, tricky, innit? Tricky because I love the first Blood and Guts, but I really hate the ending where he gets like thrown into a crash mat off the top. After its debut, blah, 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 it was traditional war. First of its kind was applauded. Even the Jericho bump earned criticism for the obvious crash pads. The contest would sprawl 2 sequels. Are they just saying Blood and Guts in general, do you think? I think they probably are. I think they're probably saying Blood and Guts in general. I'll give them it. I'll give them it because I think Blood and Guts is a good match. It's a brutal match. It's the first one, and the second one was good actually as well. I enjoyed the second one. I thought I think the in-ring part of the first one is the best I've seen still. I just really wish they hadn't done that crash mat things. It just did leave a bit of a taste in the mouth, but I'll give them Blood and Guts. Dynamite's debut. Yeah, that's a pretty standard one, innit? If we were doing the top 30 moments of SmackDown or Raw, the debut episode tends to be in there. So yeah, I can go with that. Danielson, Kenny Omega, Grand Slam. Yeah, that's one that comes to mind as well. Danielson, Kenny, it drew 20,000. Kicking off the show, it was a brilliant match. Not seen repeated to this point between them. It was a rare dream bout that lived up to expectation. Yeah, that's one that I had in mind. That definitely would have made mine. Yeah, this didn't. This actually didn't make. I didn't think of this, but I think the way that they dealt with it was incredible. And I think what you would include in this as well is the way that they kept the story close to their chest as well. I mean, for me, this is such a highlight for AEW, and it shouldn't be. But I think certainly, you know, you think about 2020 and you think about the pandemic and you think about us all being stuck at home and all of that kind of stuff. And then, you know, we didn't even know he was ill. And then we had no idea that he was like certainly like, you know, passing away or had passed away. And then we find out, and it's just one of the biggest shocks that Brodie Lee has passed. And then you find out that they were aware of it. Of course they were aware of it. And no one said a flipping words. And then the way they dealt with putting his boots in the ring and -1 and the support they've shown that family since. It's one of the best things that AEW have done. It's one of the best things they've done. It shows that like they're not I don't know, it puts across a really good image, doesn't it? It's a really good image. I don't want to criticize WWE because I think WWE have done a lot for their employees as well. They pay for a lot of like surgeries and, you know, like they supported Paige and like was paying for her like medical checkups and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, they have helped people as well, WWE. But I mean, this was, dare I say, like a different level. Of what we've kind of been used to with the support. And yeah, this was cool. This definitely deserves to be in the list. And yeah, it's got to be number one in it. It's got to be. I'm trying to think, like, how could you put a match or anything above this? I don't think you could. So yeah. I've got no issue with that. Actually, you know, all things considered, how many do I agree with? I agree with 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll give them it. No. 5, 6, 7. 7 out of 10 for that list. 7 out of 10. Not bad. Not bad. Actually, I know people will be like, oh, what other ones would you include? I don't know, is the answer. I don't know. I was thinking about this beforehand. I was thinking of like, what would I include? What would my moments be? And that's what brought me to that article. So I thought, rather than like looking at a load of articles, looking at a load of old moments, just we'll have a read of that together. So I never actually got any further to working out what my top 10 would look like. But what I can say is 7 of those that were included in there, I could go with. One of the real highlights I always think of that Hangman, Kenny, ironically, Young Bucks. I always think about that match. That match is one of the highlights of Dynamite. I don't know when we did Acclaimed against Keith Lee and Swerve, but honestly, that would be a match of the year contender for me. I love that feud. And the whole like Scissor Me Daddy, the rise of the Acclaimed, I think all of that, you know, the rejuvenation of Daddy Ass, you know, I think all of that would come together into a point for me. I'd put all of that into a point. I'd be like, yeah, this is that would be one of mine. The Acclaimed, Daddy Ass, Scissoring, and also their feud, particularly with like Keith Lee and Swerve. I really enjoyed all of that. I think Jamie Hayter might have to be in there as well, but I don't know how I would get her in. I feel like Britt Baker should be in there as well. I feel like Britt has provided a lot of like really. I really enjoyed Britt when she was injured. Do you remember when she was injured? She was on that back of a truck. I really enjoyed Britt at that point. But I think her with Jamie and Reba, that was all really cool. There's a few people that have been brought in, like when Soraya came in, there was a lot of excitement around that. You know, there's a few moments like that which maybe could make it. Life of Daz, shout out to you, says, hey birds, should be good tonight. Did you watch NXT Great American Bash? SummerSlam should be good. I did. We did the stream for it, dude. We streamed Great American Bash on Sunday. It was fine. Yeah, I thought there was some good stuff. I thought there was some not so good stuff. I thought there was some middle stuff. I thought it was a mixed bag of stuff on Great American Bash. I really didn't think that Thea and Tiffany had a great match, for example. I just didn't think their timing was quite right. Just looked a little sloppy in places. It just felt like it wasn't the right time for them to have that match. It felt too early for them to have that match, which is no surprise considering Thea's like, what, 19? It was a massive ask, and I think they probably just got away with it. But yeah, I don't think that's going to be trouble in like the top end of Dave Meltzer's star ratings. I haven't seen his star ratings, actually. I think they should come out, shouldn't they? Like today or something for Great American Bash. But I feel very confident that ain't trouble in 5 stars. Very confident. So yeah, I did watch it. And what was your other question? SummerSlam should be good. Yeah, we're all over that, dudes. So SummerSlam is this Saturday. So used to it being on a Sunday. It's this Saturday, and we will be live at least 2 hours. At least 2 hours before the kickoff show. So, yeah, we're going to be all over that. I might even start earlier. I mean, I ain't doing anything on Saturday other than SummerSlam. So I am in full SummerSlam mode on Saturday. So it's going to be big. It's going to be really big. Really looking forward to it. If you are around, stop by, share your thoughts. Let us know your predictions and what you're looking forward to, and it should be really good. Coach Co said, Ole, Adam Okada for Fad Omega eaten to the ladder. I don't know what that is. Coach Co, you can be cryptic at the best of times, but I don't know what that means. Adam Okada for Fad Omega eaten to the ladder. Enjoyed the show, dude. Gerald said, hashtag ban Tiffany from using the Boston Crab. Hashtag ban Tiffany. Well, I like Tiffany. Don't ban her outright. But, wow. Here we go. Gerald, shout out to you, my friends. We are live with the 200. Loads of signs. Loads of signs. Dynamite 200. Brachiosaurus. Here's Jericho. Jericho making his way out along with Don Callis and Takeshita. Jericho has yet to decide. Oh, graphic went. Pyro shooting up into the air as Jericho makes his way down to the ring. Didn't hear what they were laughing at then. The commentators just burst out laughing. Where is that? There it is. Okay. Jericho and Takeshita versus Guevara and Garcia. Protect. Oh, it's gone. Trans kids. Trying to read these signs. Life Dad said, I like the idea that NXT are using No Mercy. Yeah. They do a good job of bringing back those old names. Obviously, Great American Bash. We've had In Your House as well. Here's Sammy and Garcia. Does anyone know what the match card looks like? I do. That's what the match card looks like. And in AEW style, I'm going to take it away really quickly. That's my tribute to AEW. I'm going to show you the match card, but I've took it away before you can totally read it. LA Dark Knight said, I'm looking forward to SummerSlam. Can we expect much from SmackDown? I wouldn't go in with high, lofty expectations. It's a go home, and just judging by how Raw and NXT have been this week, I don't think it's been a vintage week so far. So I think that go into it with reasonable expectations of it's a go home. We'll get what we get. But really, you know, we've got so much to be excited for with SummerSlam on Saturday that it doesn't matter, does it? I mean, to be honest, even if there was no wrestling shows this week, it wouldn't make a massive difference because it's all about Saturday. We're talking about one of the biggest shows of the year. So the excitement is very, very real. James said, the greatest Dynamite ever, and it's not even close. The Brodie Lee tribute show. Yep. I would agree. Has anyone ever done Steve and Larson React? It is brutal. William said, Alex, Power was out due to rain. Please stop asking. Implying Days has an agenda. He watches what he wants. Yeah, well, it legit was out. So we think it's rain. We're still not sure. I mean, if I didn't want to watch AEW, why the flip would I be here now? Why would I be here now? If I had decided that I wasn't going to watch AEW anymore, why would I come back to it this week? Because I had no idea it was the 200th episode until I downloaded that graphic for this week's show. I didn't even know. So, yeah. It doesn't quite add up, does it? Something doesn't make sense. If I'm trying to bail on AEW, why do I keep doing it? Right, we are underway with this. What's that say, Miss? Okay, we've got Garcia and Sammy in control as gets round the back of Jericho. Jarrett said, I'm disappointed that there's no storyline between Brock and Cody. There's no reason why Brock attacked Cody. We still don't know why Cody was attacked by Brock. I agree that story needs to be stronger. Needed fleshing out more. I completely agree with you. I think it was quite lazy. But then I think Brock can be lazy. You know, I mean, you get the impression that Brock just comes in, does what he does, and then goes. He's certainly not someone that's coming up with creative ideas. He's certainly not someone that wants to deliver long, lengthy promos. He just wants to come down, mess someone up, and go again, doesn't he? But I feel like we could have explained it somehow. We could have got Adam Pearce to have explained it and said he had a meeting with Brock, and he could have said it on Brock's behalf. You know, there's no excuse. So I agree. They could have done a much better job with that. We've seen Garcia doing his dancing. Now Takeshita is doing a bit of dancing as well. Kian said, Days, hope you're well and having a good stream. What's your prediction for SummerSlam? Hang on, what's that? This week, Wrestling Escape. I missed this week's Wrestling Escape pod. There's a 1 minute video on the channel, buds, where all my predictions are. So it's a little short video, proper. I did it as a short, so it'd be quick. So that is on the channel. And actually, do you know what? I was thinking about this earlier. I genuinely think this week's Wrestling Escape pod is one of my, I'm not just saying it, legit one of my favorite episodes. I don't know ever, but certainly this year. this week's wrestling. I'm not just saying that. I thought it was really good for us to get really wrestling focused and actually explore some like interesting wrestling conversations. We were talking about like, why does Renee never really react to like John Moxley when I feel like she should? I feel like she should because that's her husband, and she never seems to, you know. I feel like we know they're together, and it's kind of come up in conversation, but she never seems worried. We never like, I don't know, we never really use her for that. Seems like a bit of a missed opportunity, and I don't know, we were talking about it. It was a good conversation. We got into a few other little bits as well, so yeah, I thought it was a really good episode this week. That's definitely something that I want to do more of. And I was saying this as well, like I said during the Wrestling Escape Pods, I think what I want the Escape Pods kind of not become, but lean into is a little more of what we got this week, which is where we do get into like a wrestling conversation, which then might lead to other wrestling conversations. I don't mind straying away from that for a bit, of course. I mean, that we've always done that. But I don't know, it just felt good. And I really want people to send in their audio clips. Send them to like wrestlingdays@gmail.com. Like when SummerSlam happens this week, just send in like, you know, a 30-second, 1 minute, 2 minute if you want, like a clip of your thoughts. Like what was good, what was bad, what was controversial, what was trash, what did you hate? No, what was your feelings on it? Anything that like you really like, yeah, I've got to get this out, man. I've got to get this heard. This needs to be said. Or even if like, you know, I don't know, if you're Austin and Jey Uso wins and you want to send in a celebratory voice note, then you know, you could potentially do that. So yeah, I'm definitely starting to think along those lines for like the Wrestling Escape Pods. I'll tell you the other thing as well. It's really weird. And I think we're at a bit of a break at the moment. His pacing of the match has slowed, but Takeshita's in control. He's just got a stretch on Garcia at the moment, an abdominal stretch. He's using Jericho for leverage. One of the things that's really changed, like, you know, helped me out is I think I've kind of found a thumbnail style, which is a very simple thumbnail style for the Wrestling Escape Pod. It's just like a white box at the bottom with the logo in the corner. It's nothing special. But the amount of times I struggle with thumbnails, like trying to figure out what they need to look like, what to do with them. Now I can just get an image, get that done. And I don't know, it's just kind of really helped me focus on, like, you know, right, that's what the episode's going to be about. That's what we're going to talk about. So I am looking to make it a little bit more... just turn the wrestling conversation up a little bit more, you know. Right, I think we're back because Jericho is trying to get the crowd fired up. There's a sign in the crowd that says Tampa is Jericho. Back to you live. You can always tell when we go to a commercial break. It just slows. The pace of it slows. Smile on the face of Jericho as he's in there with Garcia. Up coming in there by Jericho. Garcia goes against the ropes. Shop the AEW collection right now. More chops coming in again. I realized Paul Brothers of a fight on Saturday, said Trevor. That is true. Yep. Logan's starting SummerSlam so that he can try and get to Jake's fight on Saturday. I don't want to see him against someone. He's already wrestled Priest, beating them. I watched the short video. I like the predictions. I hope that The Rock does appear and challenges Roman for the title, says Kian. Kian, shout out to you. Crossbody. Jericho goes to the outside. Clothesline there by Sammy. Sammy goes against the ropes. Suicide dive into Jericho. Sammy again going against the ropes. Over the top. Comes crashing down on Takeshita. Sammy bringing some real energy to this. Sammy up top, perched. Wow. I tell you, he had nowhere to go with that frog splash. He's had to jump up and do it like really all in one space, little area, because Takeshita, I think it was Takeshita, that was right in front of him. Normally with a frog splash, they'd be in the middle of the ring so that you can really properly extend out. He had no room to work there. But he did a good job of it. The walls of Takeshita. There we go. The walls of Takeshita are in. Takeshita gets knocked back to the corner. Jericho tags in. Jericho. Spanish fly by Sammy. 1, 2. Shoulder up. Shoulder up by Jericho. Sammy coming to throw in a chop as Jericho ducks underneath. Sammy goes down. Jericho trying to turn Sammy over. 1, 2. No joy. Guevara goes down. So does Jericho. Double clothesline. Double clothesline. Crowd's applauding away. They are on the campus of South Florida. Code breaker by Jericho. Jericho looking for the cover 2. And kick out. Kick out by Jericho. Jericho going over, throwing in a chop. Garcia comes exploding out. I don't know if that was a drop kick or a knee, but he just got hurled into the corner, came firing out and collided into Jericho. Takeshita comes in. Sammy, super kick. Takeshita goes out the ring. Sammy goes to the outside, climbs up top, looks around. A kid in the crowd that's shooting star lands on Takeshita. Takeshita, I think, didn't take it very well there because he just had to check on him. 1, 2, shoulder up by Jericho. I think tie-dye guy's in the crowd. Garcia. Jericho has got a baseball bat. He smashes Garcia in the side of the head with the baseball bat. So Don Callis getting involved. What's up with Jericho? Did he just say, what the F? I think he just said, what the... So Jericho gets the pin. He just said what? I'm sure he just swore. I'm sure he just swore. I just hope both wrestlers have fun. Why is this a big moment? I suppose it's because he's cheated. Has he made his choice? Oh, here's Tony Khan. Is he making an announcement? Let's go. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Is this a hostage video? Let's take a look at some of those great people now. I want to thank everyone that made AEW possible and everyone that made All In possible. If you'd have told me that was an AI-generated Tony Khan talking, I'd be like, whoa. It's good, isn't it, this technology? But I would have believed you. I would have. Right, they're just showing some moments. Brandon said, Fight Forever game is slowly falling apart. I hope there'll be an update soon. Tony Khan announcements. That was cold, like December snow. Well, I don't think we expect fireworks from Tony Khan. He can buy them, but he can't really provide them. So we're just seeing some of those moments. I think I've seen this video package, actually. I think this video package was on their website. Well, not their website. I mean, their Twitter account. People called him before he started using the prompter. Now he's too slow. He can't win, says Esteban. Just think, like, he must... I don't know. Perhaps it is just awkward. Perhaps he's just naturally awkward. I don't know why he can't just talk to the camera like he would talk to a person. Just talk. But like he does seem very cold. He did seem there like he was just. Thank you. Like, there was no emotion or anything there. It's like robotics have really got to quite an advanced stage now where they look very human-like. Blink twice if you are being held against your will. Right, we are at commercial break. We are at commercial break. Brodie, yeah, Brodie. What is he conflicted about joining Callis and cheating his former group members? Yeah, I didn't get that bit too much because I don't know if he's in a group with them or not anymore. So, like, if they are still all in the Jericho Appreciation Society, the fact that he's just screwed them over to get that win, I could understand him being a bit conflicted about doing that, I suppose. But equally, it's Jericho. I mean, isn't this what he does? Like, just whatever is necessary to get the win. If you go into a match with Jericho, surely you go in knowing he's going to do whatever it takes to get the win. He's going to do whatever is best for Jericho. You know, he's not been presented as a super... That ain't John Cena. You know, if that was John Cena, I'd be like, oh, yes, wow. He's just won a match because Don Callis used the baseball bat. I'd be like, yeah, okay. But it's Jericho. Seen Jericho cheat more than I've had hot dinners in my life. And look at me. I've had a lot of hot dinners. A lot of work's gone into this. Right, we are at commercial break. If they can't make Kenny versus CM Punk happen, that would be a shame, said Jarrett. And then separately have the Bucks against FTR. Tony's just a bit awkward. He needs a mouthpiece and then maybe hire a kayfabe GM. Yeah, I think that Tony could have had someone like say that for him. He could have been stood there and then he could just said a little... I really want to take this opportunity to thank the fans. I mean, you don't need a prompter for that, do you? You don't need a prompter. He ain't going to trip over that, is he? You know, well said, Tony Schiavone. Well said, JR. Thank you. I just also want to take this opportunity from the bottom of my heart to thank the fans for all this amazing support you've shown us as a brand. And here's to the next 200 episodes or something like that, you know? There's a Jericho Appreciation Society mandatory meeting. Jericho walks off. Oh dear. Right, here's Tony Schiavone. Let's see what he's got to say. Jack Perry. Jack Perry making his way down. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Ba-ba-ba-bum. Ba-ba-ba-bum. Okay, so Jack Perry making his way down. There is a... Why have they got a signed Jack Perry figure? The tie-dye guy. Yeah, legend. He used to be in the NXT crowd when it was at Full Sail. Okay, so Jack Perry in the ring, the FT dub champ. He snatches the microphone. Jerry Lynn effing show. Get out here. Get out here and take your ass kicking like a man. Jerry Lynn making his way out. Some Jerry chants. Jungle. He called him Jungle. Woof, good line. I'd love to come down to that ring and make an example out of you, but I won't because it would be child abuse. Good line. There's not a doctor alive that would clear me to get back in that ring. But I called a good friend. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Still wrestles today. RVD chants. RVD chants breaking out, and looks like it is going to be RVD. It's got to be in it. RVD graphics, and there he is, Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam makes his way out. Wow, Rob Van Dam making his way down to the ring. RVD chants. Rob Van Dam making his way down to the ring. What's this going to lead to, though? Is this leading to a match announcement or a brawl, or... Rob Van Dam in the middle of the ring. Jack Perry gets out the ring. Starts walking away. Very cool. I don't know what we're getting with this though. Is there rumors as to where this is leading? Cool moment. RVD looks like he's having the munches a lot. Jack Perry back in the ring. Rob Van Dam goes for a kick, but Jack Perry rolls out the ring. Quick, man. That was quick. Jack Perry gets in the front row, grabs the kids. I hope he got that cleared. Can't go grabbing children. Jack Perry in the crowds as Rob Van Dam is in the ring with a chair. Rob Van Dam appears on AEW. Fulham Celta player, the Circle of Life. It may not lead to anything, in all fairness. This might have just been a bit of a one-off. It might just be that Jerry Lynn wanted like a reinforcement. And as I say, I don't know if there's any rumors that this is particularly leading anywhere, but cool moment. Really nice moment. Anytime that you can bring in a legend or someone like Rob Van Dam, cool. I mean, he wasn't... He's not looking in the prime of his physical like shape. Let's put it that way. In fact, let's do a quick little video because I feel like this is definitely video worthy. Although I don't know if I've got a better image than that. Let me see if there's a better image. Is that a better image? Is that a better image? That's a bit better. Big moment on AEW. We had Jack Perry in the ring calling out Jerry Lynn. Jerry Lynn said that, well, he's not able to go anymore. He wouldn't be cleared by any doctors, but thankfully, he knows someone that can still go. He knows someone that can still step up to Jack Perry, and out came Rob Van Dam. RVD made his way down to the ring. Jack Perry, of course, got out the ring, went into the crowd, ran away. I don't know that this is going to lead to a match. I don't know that this is going to lead to anything further. I think this was just backup. This was just support for Jerry Lynn for this week's very special Dynamite, 200th episode of Dynamite. But yeah, still a great moment, all the same. Rob Van Dam making an appearance and chasing Jack Perry out of the ring. Right now, I think we're going to the Anything Goes match. So, Anything Goes match, I believe, is coming up now. So, Penta making his way down to the ring. Trent Baretta has just come out. And then coming up next will be John Moxley. I'm surprised that RVD showed up. Yeah, to be honest, I thought he was still under a WWE deal, but he clearly can't be. Right, I need to change the thing on screen, don't I? I need to do that. Okay, here's John Moxley. How long have we had? Oh, half an hour already in the show. Flying in it. Coach Co said 80 to be a toothache. Something, something, and seek him eating pizza with the lease are in the meter in a pizza in Hawaii. What? What? I don't know if those are song lyrics. I don't know if that's meant to make sense. I don't know. I just don't know. Slay. What I do know is I appreciate the support, though, Coach Cone. I hope you're enjoying AEW this evening. AEW Dynamite. We've been treated to a little Rob Van Dam appearance. Always welcome. Coach Co was hanging with Tony Khan. What if Coach Co is Tony Khan? Oh my God. Wouldn't that just make so much sense? Wouldn't that just make so much sense? Wow. I bet it is, you know. Moxley penalty Mox. You can get a Moxley, what is that, like a hockey jersey? Moxley versus Penta versus Trent Baretta. Okay, this is Anything Goes. And everything must go. Okay, we got Penta in the corner. Trent, we've had a trash can. Pops him on the head with a trash can lid. Sign in the crowd said, "Let's go, Trent." But it ended with a question mark. Mox, AEW got blood. We'll hear from MJF. That's still to come tonight. Moxley looking under the ring. Hope he pulls out a hornswoggle. No, it's not a hornswoggle. It is a wooden board surrounded in barbed wire. Oh! That's his Hacksaw Jim Duggan impression, but just a bit more extreme. Now the board is in the hands of Penta. Penta trying to hit Jon Moxley with it, but no joy. Backstabber by Penta. Moxley. Knee strike to the side of the head there by Trent Baretta. Does the winner get anything? Oh. To the midsection and then straight across the back as well. And this barbed wire in the face of Trent Baretta. Barbed wire just being put in the face of Trent. I don't know if Trent's busted. Oh, he's going to... Oh, pile driver. Moxley got a bit of that himself. He drove Trent onto that barbed wire. Trent drops Moxley onto the barbed wire. Is Trent bladed? I think Trent just bladed there. Did he blade? Yeah, I think he did just blade. Now we're getting a table. So Trent has got some color. We've got two tables that have been set up on the outside of the ring. Moxley down in the ring as Trent goes face first into the ring steps. Trent scooting over a little bit more. He's looking up at Penta. He's going to get off the table. He just sort of lay there and he looked up at Penta. First of all, he scooted over to get into the middle of the table. Then he sort of looked up at Penta. I was hoping that he was going to move if someone was going to jump on him, because he was just showing too much awareness. But no one did in the end. Trent has popped up. He's grabbed Moxley. He's going to look for a superplex to the outsides. I don't know how wise that was, because he's ended up putting himself through the first table, and he's put Moxley through the second table. So they've both ended up going through tables. The winner of that spot was Penta, because he wasn't involved in it. But Trent ended up putting himself through a table there. Both of these guys are down, feeling the effects of that big spot. I mean, you really don't often see a superplex to the outside. You know, it was a treat to see that, to be honest. Superplex to the outside is actually quite rare. So seeing that was kind of cool, but from a logic point of view, it didn't make loads of sense. As we said, just great news for Penta, really. Who grabs the table. They're looking to put a table in the ring. There's 2 tables in the ring. Penta in the ring. Moxley in the ring. Trent getting in the ring. Rob Van Dam, Jack Perry at All In is the rumor, says James. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Big time. Shout out to you. Said Collision uses Punk, FTR, Andrade, House of Black, Ricky Starks, Jay White. I know it's a soft brand split, but Dynamite feels empty. Do you feel the same? I don't know if it feels empty. I think that the people I'm more interested in are the ones that are on Collision. I have no doubt that Collision is the show that I should be watching. I've got no doubt Collision is the show that I would enjoy more. It would be really kind if Toni would put Collision on a Wednesday and Dynamite on a Saturday. I would really appreciate that. Penta down, elbows coming in by Moxley. Yeah, I mean, if you think like Dynamite has got Moxley and Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and Jericho, like there's definitely star power on Dynamite as well. But the names that I would much rather be watching are definitely the ones that are on Collision. Okay, we've got a table that is set up in the corner. We've got another table that's set up in the ring. Trent Baretta is bleeding. I don't think Moxley's bleeding. Defcon Eric said, why do I feel like I see more entertaining matches from Omega and Penta in AAA and New Japan right now instead of AEW? Are they taking off on AEW? I honestly I don't know. I couldn't answer that because I don't watch New Japan or AAA, so I couldn't compare super kicks. But I think it's long been a talking point, a topic of conversation, that Kenny has not been able to deliver the single match quality. I think maybe that conversation's not as strong after like seeing like the Ospreay match and him and Danielson. But there was definitely a feeling in the early stages of AEW that we were not getting the singles matches out of Kenny that we were used to seeing at like the Wrestle Kingdoms. I would say that we've seen a few things now, but that was certainly a conversation for Kenny, and maybe a conversation that still remains a little. Avalanche Destroyer through a table by Penta to Trent. Moxley drives Penta through the table that was set up in the corner. Now, Trent is looking at the barbed wire baseball bat. He was just having a little look at that as Moxley rolls out the ring. Crowd are chanting, "This is awesome." Moxley's gone out the ring. He's got a bag, which I'm sure is going to have thumbtacks in it by the looks of it. There's the thumbtacks. This is very much a spot fest, said Mitchell. Of course, Moxley has got thumbtacks, says Gerald. Collision is solid, but the storytelling is not there yet, says Gerald. I started a new job last Monday and a new job this Tuesday. Jonathan, shout out to you. Looking for a pile driver. Pile driver to Penta into the thumbtacks. And still can't get the 3. Penta with thumbtacks all over his back. He gets dumped into them. Moxley with a cutter to Trent. Now Trent. 1, 2. Trash can to the heads. Triple Mania, Omega for Vikingo in a bloody match. Ticky tacks, said Zoom Station. So they're all covered in thumbtacks. I don't really understand why we're doing a match of this velocity. Like, you know, this is the kind of thing that if 3 people really hated each other and, you know, there'd been a feud for like months and it would like build up to a match like this, you would be like, yeah, I get it. They hate each other. They really want to hurt each. This is personal. It's not though, is it? It's not. It's just like, should we have a match? Should we do this as a match? I say, I don't think the winner gets anything, does it? Do they? Does the winner get... The winner of this deserves something. Trent going against the ropes. Clothesline. Trent goes down into those thumbtacks again. Forearm strikes being exchanged back and forth. Kick to the midsection. Springboarding off, kick to the midsection again and planted. Knee strike by Trent. 1, 2, 3. Trent gets the win. That's a good big win for Trent. You know, he's just beaten like won a match that had Moxley and Penta in. I mean, he deserves a title opportunity now, doesn't he? Doesn't he deserve to be going up against MJF after this? Moxley grabs Trent. It's got a choke being applied. Here come Blackpool Combat Club. Considering that's like a free-to-air weekly TV show match, it didn't have like loads of flips and all that in. It was pretty like a hardcore type match. Chuck Taylor, Orange Cassidy. It was actually better than what I thought it was going to be. Right, we're seeing Best Friends and Blackpool Combat Club brawling away here. Claudio get into the ringside area. Orange Cassidy's down there. Don't know what Penta's going to do. I don't know if he's just going to sneak off. Mitchell said the winner gets the first shower. The winner gets the first medical attention, which in this sort of a match is quite the prize. It's a very welcome prize, that is, Mitchell. Winner gets the first shower. I tell you what, a shower, a prize. Someone in the crowd has got a milk carton sign. And on the side, it's like, you know, missing person. And it's Danhausen. They want to know where Danhausen has gone. Friday night on Rampage. Parking lot. Parking lots fight, parking lot brawl thing again. Parking lot fight at Daly's place, which is a very highly regarded match in the history of Dynamite. Collision. Oh yeah, who won? MJF. So they lost to FTR. I didn't know this. So they lost to FTR, and he also could have nailed Adam Cole when Adam Cole's back was turned, but he decided not to. So we're going to hear from MJF next. Tony, we are doing another Blackpool Combat Club beatdown. Don't shake your head, Tony, said Sakilla. Parking lot brawl, more violence just because, says Gerald's. Old school parking lot brawl, let's go, said Heather. Heather, shout out to you. I actually think that's a good thing for them to do, because the parking lot brawl, I understand people saying like, oh, more violence for the sake of it. I understand, but I think there's a lot of affection for that first match. I thought it was all right, that first parking lot brawl. I didn't think it was like a 5-star classic. Like, people really, really were crazy for it. I thought it was like 3.75, 4 stars. I think it was like, for me, it was around that kind of ballpark. I really enjoyed it. Really solid for like, you know, a TV show match. Really solid offering, but I wasn't like, you know, 4.755. I wasn't in that territory, but there was a lot of people that were, and it's very fondly remembered. And I think for them to do that on not Dynamite, Rampage, because Rampage is very much like, what the hell do you do with Rampage? Like, what do you do with Rampage? It's not its own brand, so like it's sort of like the forgotten child. It's the lost sibling. So I think the fact that they're putting a match like that on there, which could absolutely have gone on next week's Dynamite, or it could have absolutely gone on to Collision or whatever, but they're putting it on Rampage. I think that's kind of cool. I mean, annoying if you're not someone that's going to get a chance to watch Rampage like me. But cool. I think they should put things on Rampage that people specifically want to watch. Like, if they want Rampage to get anywhere, that's the type of match you've got to put on. So yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind that. I do think though that Trent should get, so like having them come out and go, well, this didn't achieve anything. Just moments. That's literally what was said after this brutal triple threat that we just saw. Like, literally just walked in the ring and went, well, this didn't achieve anything. I think it was Chuck Taylor said it. Well, this didn't achieve anything. So how about Rampage? And poor Trent Baretta's next to him with a punctured lung, blood gushing down his face, thumbtacks all in his back, and his mate's going, well, this was a waste of time. If you was Trent Baretta, you'd be like, shut up, would you? Can't breathe here. Hey, here's Rob Van Dam. I heard Jack running his mouth. Next week. Oh, he does want him next week. Next week. 1-on-1. Why did we never do Rob Van Dam and Riddle together? Why did WWE, with their very deep pockets, why did they never reach out to Rob Van Dam with some sort of idea to do something with him and Riddle? Not in a match, but like, I don't know, have him be his like advisor or something for a bit. Okay, so, well, there we go. It looks like he is going to be around next week, which is interesting. When that segment ended earlier, it did make me think that that's maybe, you know, the only time that we're going to be seeing him. Okay, MJF making his way down to the ring. Okay. MJF. Just looking around. He looked like he had a few tears in his eyes. Sounds like we've got a few devil worshippers in the house tonight. It's a bit emotion. It's a bit emotion. I have attention deficit disorder. ADD chant. Said life can be difficult for him. There's a lot about my past that you guys don't know. Some kids threw some quarters at him and told him to pick them up. Wish people would throw money at me. I mean, it probably hurt in all fairness. Did he get to keep the quarters? That's what I'm thinking. Did those quarters go towards his first Burberry scarf? He said in order to protect himself, he had to stab everyone in the back before they got to him. But now he knows that's no way to live. Can't live life that way, guys. Come on. MJF versus The Miz at WrestleMania 40, said Trevor. Bleacher Report is predicting matches for All In: Sammy versus Jericho, Punk versus Jay White, Omega versus Takeshita, Adam Cole versus MJF, says AB Jobson. Is this a face turn? This is emotional, says Lance. Being vulnerable and being open is hard, says MJF. What do you think is going to happen with Collision ratings on Saturday with SummerSlam? I think they're going to suffer. Last time, it wasn't even at the same time, but Money in the Bank, we saw them go down into the 400,000 range. I don't like the fake crying. I find it a bit like cringe, where he's like fake crying. MJF said, I'm not going to change overnight. I'm still a scumbag. But I'm ready to be your scumbag. And the crowd's applauds. He's a scumbag chant. He's our scumbag. There's one person that taught me to think like this. Even the devil deserves a friend. Crowd saying he's a scumbag. Okay, he's giving a big intro here to Adam Cole, I presume. My best friend, Adam Cole, baby. Adam Cole, baby. Bye. Here's Adam Cole. No music. Why no music? Why no music for Adam Cole? I'm not saying it's bad that there's no music. I'm just wondering why no music. Adam Cole getting in the ring. Perhaps they're just trying to make it spontaneous, feel spontaneous. Adam Cole said, you continue to impress me every day. It's because of the man that you are becoming. You are not alone. For years, I was a jerk, says Adam Cole. God, it's all very emotional and feelings and everything in it. They love you. They adore you. I'm so proud of you. You're becoming the man that you're meant to be. I feel like I'm watching Murray. Is this Murray? This is Murray in disguise. Adam Cole is incredibly proud. The crowd are incredibly proud. As much as I enjoy you performing verbal fellatio on me, are we watching The Real Husbands of AEW? Very good. Okay, where are we going? Win, lose, or draw? I'd give you a shot at Triple B. Adam Cole with a smile on his face. I tell you, I've been thinking long and hard. You don't deserve a match. I've come to the conclusion you don't deserve a match. Don't deserve a match. Deserve the match. Ah. All in. So, Wembley all in. He says you don't deserve a match. You deserve the match. Main event of the most historic night in the history of our sport. Please sign it. Read it first, Adam Cole. Read it. Read it. Read it. Read it. Read it. Anyone else chanting read it, not sign it? Read it. Read it. Read it. Read it. Read it. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You didn't read it. I like what they've done there. I don't like all the lovey-dovey stuff. I don't like the lovey-dovey stuff, but I do like the way that they have potentially set up screwing Adam Cole. What a mistake. He didn't read it first, said Travis. Completely agree, dude. Roderick Strong's going bananas backstage. He has been warning him. Roderick Strong going bananas backstage. He's really not happy with what he's just seen, and I can't say I blame him. Yeah. Good story that they're telling between these two. Plenty of potential for twists and turns. It's going to be a great match, says Luke. You can catch it on pay-per-view. We'll be doing the watch-along on for that. All in London, Sunday, August 27th. Live from Wembley Stadium. In London, baby. London town, baby. Okay, we've got Kenny and the Bucks making the way down. I feel like this is probably another video, isn't it? More breaking news coming out of AEW, and we know the main event of AEW All in London. It is going to be MJF versus Adam Cole. MJF said that he promised Adam Cole a match once this tag tournament had been completed. He said that Adam Cole didn't deserve a match. He deserved the match. And by the match, what he meant was the main event of the biggest AEW show that we have ever seen up until this point. Obviously, it's going to be at Wembley. It's on August 27th, live on pay-per-view. Obviously, we'll be doing the watch-along for it on the Wrestling Days channel as well. Big show. Over 70,000 tickets have been sold. They're well on the way to 80,000. So for MJF to give Adam Cole that opportunity is massive. There's another little talking point here, though. He said, please sign this contract. Please make it official. Adam Cole was so excited. He signed the contract but didn't read it. So there is potential for this story to continue and for something to be in that contract that Adam Cole might not be too excited about. He signed it without looking at it. The fans were chanting, sign it, but there was a good chunk of them chanting, read it as well. He signed it. We know we're getting the match, but as we said, we've still got a good few weeks to go until we get to the show. Let's see how this plays out. But our first match is official for AEW All in London. MJF versus Adam Cole. Adam Cole, baby! Adam. Defcon Eric and Pirate King Jack Adventures says, do you think Colt Cabana being on the most recent episode of Being the Elite is a shot at CM Punk? No. I don't see that as a shot. I think that Colt Cabana has got to be free to work and talk to people and have a life. So I can't say that, this is something that's shown itself quite a few times. Whenever anything happens with Colt Cabana, it always seems to relate back to CM Punk. I just don't look at it that way. I look at it as, he's a wrestler with his own career. And if they want to bring him on Being the Elite, if they want to have him on Dynamite, if they want to do whatever, then it doesn't always have to relate to CM Punk. So I don't see. I'm sure there's plenty of fans that are making that connection, but that doesn't stand out to me as being anything. Why should CM Punk even care about something like that? Why should he even care? Okay, we are underway. I need to change that thing on screen, don't I? We can do that in a second. CM Punk versus Ricky Starks for the real AEW Championship with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat as guest ref at 70 on Collision, says Adam. Right, we've got Satnam Singh stepping up to Matt Jackson, and neither Kenny nor Nick Jackson want to get in the ring with Satnam Singh. Now Nick is tagged in, and he didn't want to get in. He didn't want to get in. Drop kick by the Young Bucks. Satnam Singh goes against the ropes. Satnam Singh takes down both of the Bucks. Oh, I said I'd change this. The match card graphic for All In really gives me WrestleMania vibes, said Big Time Baxter. Omega and Bucks versus... Oh man, there's loads in there. I'll just put people. People, load of people. Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh. Boom. The women's title is the main event. Would it be too high to say a Thunder Rosa return? Thunder Rosa could return. She was seen going into the office when they were having discussions about Collision. So, oh, what do you mean tonight? Oh, I don't know actually, because didn't she go in for a meeting with Toni about being on Collision? That's where I was expecting her to show up. Don't know. I can't say I'm expecting Thunder Rosa, but we could always do it. It is the 200th episode, isn't it? So, but I was under the impression she was going to do it Collision, but don't know. We'll find out. 45 minutes to go. Do you think the women main eventing is a pity gift to make up for the backlash last week over AEW's handling of women? Until we've seen it, I don't know, because they could have something planned. I mean, I would say that it should main event because it is for the women's championship, and it has to be seen as one of the major championships. You know, MJF's not defending the main title. So really beyond that, the women's title, you could make an argument that that's the second most important. I feel like it should be more important than the men's mid-card. You could make a conversation. Tag wrestling is quite important in AEW. So you could have a conversation about, is the women's title more important than the tag titles? I don't know. I feel like for me, the women's title should be like the second most important. I mean, you can make an argument it should be up there with the most important, but I think the men's division is pretty clear of the women's division. So yeah, I think for me, it's in the spot that it should be in for tonight's show. So I don't know. I don't know if they're doing it as a bit of a gift or anything like that. Plus also, you know, the point was just made. Maybe it's going to be used in that spot because they've got a plan to like bring back, say, a Thunder Rosa or a Jamie Hayter or something like that in that spot, you know, and we get like a big confrontation or something. So don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have a better idea by the end. Defcon Eric said the Mattel Big Green lacks poignant details. Oh. That's a shame. I love the fact they've made one, though, but it is a shame if it doesn't have, like, detailing on it, but I don't know. I honestly, I wasn't sure we would ever see it, so it is great to see it. I love the fact they've made the Andre 87 as well. There's been a fair few belts they've come out with I wasn't expecting to see. Satnam Singh grabbing Kenny. Kenny moonsaults, but lands on double knees. Trini, single as a Pringle, said, so my husband has a co-worker that thinks she should be his next wife. I just let her know in the kindest way that I'm a psychopath with a gun license. She blocked me and my hubby. Smart girl. Well, Trini, I didn't want to bring it up, but there was a lot of people yesterday saying that the fact that your name is single as a like Pringle sort of suggests that you might also be playing away a little bit. That did come up in conversation yesterday. It was, I think it was James Chadwick. I'm not sure. Can't remember. Just saying. Just saying, like, some of the messages that you're sending out maybe are a bit confusing. Karen's getting sprayed in the face with that spray. There's a lot of here's the Hardy Boys. Here's Matt Hardy. Jeff Hardy comes down looking for a twist of fate. Sanjay Dutt goes down. Jeff Jarrett's got a guitar. He's going to look to nail Kenny with the guitar. Hangman looking for the buckshot. Buckshot by Hangman. Hangman rolls out the ring. Now Jay Lethal's got the guitar, but knee strike there by Kenny. Kenny throwing the guitar away, looking for one winged, going for one winged, one winged. Connects. 1, 2, 3. It is a win for Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. Justice for Blue Cane. Okay, so it is a win for those guys. Jay Lethal on the outside. Jeff Jarrett looking over at Karen Jarrett. Karen Jarrett can't see anything. What's on your mind? What's on your mind? Here's Hangman. What's on your mind? Big announcement. The Elite have re-signed with AEW. We're so happy to be here, and here's to the next 200. Dynamite, Rampage, heck, even Collision. You'll be seeing more of us. Well, there we go. Those 4 men put the Elite in All Elites. Dates turn Rampage into an all-women show. That could be its new identity. AEW Boobs. The home of boobs. Right. Here's Mogul Embassy. AR Fox. You didn't say a word to me for 5 years, says AR Fox to Darby. Alex Swerve. What's this? A movie he's made. Oh, are they at Darby's place? Okay, so Swerve and AR Fox. I kind of like these two together, but I don't know what we're doing here. Ah, is that Nick Wayne's place? It was Darby's place. Fox throws skateboards in. There's a brawl in there right now, so they're beating up Nick Wayne, or they're going to beat up Nick Wayne. Kick. People are going flying all over the place here. Tell you what, one day they could do a match in here, couldn't they? Like a cinematic thing, a match in this. That'd be pretty sick. Front face lock. Oh, well, that's not wrestling. Well, that's not wrestling. I don't even know what he's just smashed him with. A picture? A picture? Classic wrestling move right there by Swerve. Grab a picture of a child and his sadly passed away father and wallop him in the head with it. I remember Hackenschmidt and Gotch used to do that in the early 1900s. He's not playing by the rules, is he? Swerve. Blood pouring down the face here of Nick Wayne. It's proper busted open there, you know. Proper busted. Unlock the phone. Call him. They want him to call Darby, I think. It's pretty brutal, this, isn't it? In a good way. In a good way. I don't think he needed to say his name. Nah, this ain't Nick. This is AR Fox. You know AR Fox. You remember we've met a few times. Do you remember? I think his voice alone probably gave away who it was. Show him what you've done to him. Put the video thing on and show him what you've done. Oh, he's hung up. Oh, and they've broke the window. That is a lot of blood, man. Brutal. Really brutal. Really brutal. I tell you that what I'm thinking is it was a really great video, that was. And I'm just thinking that, like, when you put it on the show, I think there has to be just a slightly different way to present it. I'm wondering if, like, Tony Khan should have said, look, we've been given this video to play and we're going to show it because you need to know what's happening with these superstars, what's happening with this situation. You need to know what's happening with this situation. I just want you to know everyone's okay. I just want you to know that we've got permission to show this footage. I wasn't comfortable with showing this, but everyone's okay. And actually, Nick has requested that you see this because you need to know what's going on, or something like that. You know, I kind of feel like just going over to it, throwing to it, and then like coming out of it, and now we've just got some people coming out. I don't know if there's not a different way of just presenting it. It was really, really good. Maybe we should have gone back to the commentators after, and the commentators could have just said a few words about it rather than just go to some people walking out for their entrances straight after it. Because it's really, really good. It's a really great video. And I think, like, you don't particularly want to just continue with the show now and just move on from it. Like, right, that's done, now we're moving on. This is a big criticism I had of, like, Bray Wyatt stuff back in the day when we were getting, like, Bray would do something in the ring, like, you know, Alexa would throw a fireball or whatever it might be, or Bray would appear out of nowhere. And then the commentators would be like, wow, I don't know what that was about, but coming up next, here's Hit Row. And, like, you know, it would just move on. And nothing mattered. It didn't matter. Right, that's done. Now we're moving on. And as I said, that was so good that maybe we just needed that little moment where the commentators just sort of look at each other, and that was, you know, that's one of the worst things I've ever, like, maybe, you know, you just get a bit of that reaction, whatever it might be. But really good. Really, really good. That was probably shot yesterday, said David. Aaron said it was so great. It makes me hate Swerve, and I feel sorry for Nick, so thumbs up. Lots and lots of Nick Wayne blood, said Oration Minds. Heather said, Ring of Honor tag match better be stupid quick, so Shida and Toni have got enough time. Half an hour to go. Yeah, it was good. I completely agree. I think that was really, really good. I think tonight's been pretty solid, actually. I think tonight's been really solid. I think the MJF thing and Adam Cole was really good. The only little criticism, I'd say it was a bit too lovey-dovey in places. A bit too, you know, they really do go OTT with some of that stuff, but outside of that, it was good. The Nick Wayne thing was just good. The triple threat match for a free TV thing, you know, that match wouldn't have looked that out of place on a pay-per-view. So yeah, I think it's been a really good offering this week from AEW. And Rob Van Dam as well. Don't forget Rob Van Dam coming out. Now we've got Aussie Open against Vikingo and Komander. I like that mask. There's Vikingo. Vikingo and Komander versus Aussie Open. Ring of Honor tag titles. Ding, ding, ding. Ring-a-ding-ding. Right, Aussie Open. Big size difference there. Vikingo, not very big at all. But obviously very highly skilled. Goes over the top. Into the corner. Moves out. That was lovely. Over the top, springboard, crossbody. Against the ropes. That was pretty sick. He likes... I don't really even understand how he did that. He spun around in the air, and then, as he was spinning, he used that momentum to, like head scissors, really. Yeah, these are really going to be a good team, aren't they, these two? It's going to be a lot of flippy, floppy, high flying stuff, but you're going to expect that with these two, but as long as it's got a bit of hard hitting action in there as well, and there's some selling, and it's all credible. It's all so good so far. Komander in the ring. I don't know, the two Aussie Open guys. I like them, though. Oof. Big boot. Against the ropes goes Komander. Vikingo down on the outside. Komander goes down. Big kick. Oh! Big senton. Huge senton. He's got a bit of size to him, this one, isn't he? FTR AEW World Tag Team Championship match on Collision. Big Bill and Brian Cage going up against FTR. Crossbody gets caught there, Komander. We've also got Statlander against Mercedes Martinez and the Acclaimed. on Collision this Saturday. 1, 2. Kick out by Komander. CM Punk, Ricky Starks, Real World Championship with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Over in the corner goes Komander. As collides into the corner there. The Aussie Open guy. I don't know the names of these two. Kick to the midsection by Komander. Working on the arm. Komander going up top rope. Middle, gets caught. Yeah, he was trying to use like an aerial move of some degree, but just got caught. Gets back in the ring though. Big boot. Goes back. Vikingo tags in. Over the top. Vikingo against the ropes. Drop kick. Davis goes to the outside. Now the other member of Aussie Open in the ring. He drops Komander to the outside. Big boot. Fletcher gets kicked. He went on the ropes. He's perched. Now we're going to see. This is a move that has snuck into wrestling over the past few years, where they kind of sit and hold themselves whilst the other person like delivers a leg drop or something. It's very Tree of Woe, isn't it? It's Tree of Woe, but not in the corner. Instead, it's in like the middle of the ropes. I will see y'all on Monday. I'm going to a baseball tournament in Maryland and will be staying there. WWE, AEW fan, shout out to you. Still to come tonight, Toni Storm against Hikaru Shida. Should be good, so I like both of those. We've got, what, 25 minutes to go. I agree with Heather. I hope they do give that some time. It's not a bad match, this. High-flying stuff, but there's that lovely mixture. It's the perfect mixture, actually, because you get your high-flying spots, which I don't mind. But mixed in is a bit of, like, heavy hitting. Just some, some rough and tumble in there as well. I like that there. Look at that chop. Massive chop. Komander goes down. It's a lovely blend of styles. One team trying to bring that kind of aerial, action-packed, high pace, high flying. The other team a lot more grounded, a lot more brawling, a lot more heavy-handed. And making for quite a fun little contest. Crowds applauding away. And I believe, is this for the Ring of Honor tag belts? Tag being made. Charging over, down goes Vikingo. It's Komander that is being suplexed in the middle of the ring. Cover, 2, shoulder up. Shoulder up. Okay, over in the corner goes Komander. Pace of it has just slowed a little, but that's fine because it's the Aussie Open team that are in control. Went for another senton. They would be looking to work at a slower pace, so it's going more to their kind of pace. Now we're seeing the babyface team coming back into it. We've got Vikingo in there. Kick there by Vikingo. Fletcher goes down. 2. Just a 2. Crowds are not crazy into it. Maybe a little burnt out. I think we might have been at commercial break as well, which kind of meant there's not been many high flying spots in a while, and the pace has been slow. Vikingo gets planted by Aussie Open. 1, 2, kick out. Oof, super close. Super close. Don't miss my super chat. I asked your score so far. I said it's about a 7 for me, says Mitchell. I would have got to it, but what's your score so far? Maybe a 7. Go 7.25 actually. Yeah. I'd probably go like 7.25. I could even be convinced to go 7.5. I actually think it's been one of the best Dynamites I've seen in a little while. I think the Rob Van Dam thing was good. I think the Swerve video was really good. I think this match is enjoyable. Even though that triple threat wasn't my kind of thing, I thought it was done probably about as well as what you would expect for that. And as I said, you know, there was I do think that the winner of that should have got something, but for a regular week's match, you know, as I said, you wouldn't have looked that out of place had it have had a good build and then they popped it on a pay-per-view. So gotta give that credit. The MJF segment as well. So yeah, actually, the more I think about it, I think the more I could go to a 7.5 easy. Yeah, I no doubt this is the best show I've seen so far this week. Easily better than Raw, which I just thought was a bit so-so. Better than Dynamite, NXT, which I thought was a bit so-so this week. And as I said, I think this is the best Dynamite I've seen in quite a while. I do think, you know, that since Collision started, I think Collision has kind of, I could be wrong, but I feel like AEW was a little bit lost. I think it's been lost for quite a long time. Aussie Open, get the win. Aussie Open, retain. So, yeah, I think AEW was a bit lost. I think it didn't know where it was going, what it was doing. I think it's been like not the strongest of years for them. I think obviously the end of last year, mid to end of last year with the CM Punk drama. And then I think coming into this year, you know, the ratings have been like 850 and they've been like that for a long time for Dynamite and they just can't seem to move it. And I think they've been trying some stuff and I don't think it's really been connecting with the casual fans. And just watching the product, it's felt very safe, a little stagnant. And then Collision has started. And I think what's happened there is that Collision, they've actually delivered the show that I think people have wanted AEW to be, which is a lot more wrestling focused, sports focused, really cool, like wrestlers, credible, entertaining. Just, I don't know, the personnel they've got with like CM Punk and Ricky Starks and FTR. This is just like a really incredibly strong roster. Doing really good stuff is what I've been told. Great matches. I mean, the Juice Robinson FTR match with Switchblade is meant to be like a match of the year contender. So I'm just hearing so much good stuff about that show. As I said, I no doubt that that's the AEW product I should be watching. And I sort of think that because of the good reviews that that's been getting, I sort of think some of that ideology has maybe bled into Dynamite. Maybe they've looked at some of that stuff and gone, I need more of that on Dynamite, you know. I need some more of that. Because this tonight has not felt stagnant, stale. It hasn't felt any of those things. It's actually felt like there's been some stuff going on. Obviously, the MJF and Cole story's been running for a good few weeks now. And that's one of the most entertaining things they've done this year. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. So, you know, that's been a success story. And I'm loving what I've just seen with Swerve. Obviously, like Rob Van Dam coming in, they've always been capable of bringing in surprises like that and people like that. So that's nothing new. There's no change there. But yeah, definitely thinking this is one of the better episodes I've seen in quite a long time. Just, I suppose we have to hope that it's not because it's the anniversary. I'd like to think this is going to be the new normal. This is the new normal. This is what Dynamite is going to be now. This is what Dynamite's going to be like going forwards. It's going to be this strong. Hope so. Days, if you had something to repackage Hit Row, what would you do? Split them up and see what they do as singles, or give them a new gimmick, make the audience care about them? I would. I've said this. I think I've never found Hit Row to be credible or believable, and I think the problem's Top Dollar. I would remove Top Dollar from that group. I don't know what I would do with Top Dollar. I'm not a believer in like firing people. I think certainly if they've not done anything wrong, I think what you should do is they should see out their contract. So, but I wouldn't worry about it. I'd find something for him to do. Go hang out with Akira Tozawa or something like that. I actually think Ashanti has got something about him. He's a little bit Xavier Woods. Like you could see Ashanti in like Swerve's faction here, you know. I could see Ashanti in this Mogul Embassy thing. I think he could be credible. I think Ashanti could be, you could see Ashanti in New Day and having like fun, or he could go into that thing with Swerve there, like that Mogul Embassy. I think Ashanti's got something about him. I think the fact that he stayed quiet and really out the way means that there's a little bit of mystery about Ashanti. That you don't really know too much about him. I don't know too much about him. But because he's kind of kept himself to himself, I don't think the failure of Hit Row has really got on him. I don't look at him and blame him for Hit Row not working. B-Fab, I actually think looks quite cool. I like her hair. I like her look. I think that she is someone that has got like she can do like a bit of rapping and whatever. I actually think like the Hit Row group could work and could get somewhere. That gimmick could work, but I think Top Dollar's the problem. I think Top Dollar is a bit cringe. I think that's what it comes down to. I think he's just a bit cringe. I just don't think he's very cool. I feel sorry for him. You know, it's not because of the thing, the fact he didn't get over the rope. It's not that. I just think he's just, I don't know, he's just not very cool. I don't look at him and think he's very cool. But I do think that B-Fab and Ashanti are all right. So I would take out Top Dollar. I would put in a new member, and I don't know who that would be right now. But honestly, I don't know. I don't know who it would be. I don't think I would. Maybe Carmelo could go into it, or maybe Trick could go into it. Don't know. Someone could go into it. Someone could replace Top Dollar. And I think then, like, no more money, and all this kind of rubbish, right? No more of that. Have them just be a really cool group. A little bit like what you just saw there with Swerve. You know, just cool. Just be cool. Find a way of making them actually cool. Have them be actually cool. So, yeah, it'd be one way you'd have to really sit down and put some work in. But no, I wouldn't separate them, and I wouldn't try and get them a new gimmick and stuff like that. I would just try to refine what it is at the moment. 'Cause I think there is some there, but it's just it's just cringe at the moment. It's just cringe. It's cringe rubbing it. Right. We've got Toni and Hikaru in the ring. We got 13 minutes. I like Hikaru Shida's ring gear. She's changed it, and I think it looks better. We've got Saraya and Ruby on the outsides. Got coming in by Toni. I think I would have liked Shida's ring gear to have had some color to it. There's a lot of black in wrestling. I think that she could have put a bit more, like, she could have had a cut, like, it could have been red instead of black. What's black could be red, and what's red could be black. So it'd be a lot more red. Toni on the outside. 10 minutes, but they're not even wrestling, says Loopy Girl. What has Paige done since coming to AEW? Not much, to be honest. It's not been the success we were hoping for. Toni grabbing Shida's hair. Knee strike to the midsection. Swerve and AR Fox are going to be in action on Rampage. Trios match as well. There's like Hardy's, Keith Lee, Butcher Blade. Shida looking for a camel clutch, maybe. Shots coming in there by Shida, and again. Shida on the outsides. Throwing down some strikes. She confronts Saraya, who was saying a few words. Knee strike there. Justin said, release Top Dollar and B-Fab. Shida hair pulling into, into the barricade. And that barricade just moved as Toni Storm got chucked into it. AB Jobson said Shida's gear looks good. I agree. I think it looks a lot better. A lot better. I really like it. Shots coming in. She goes crashing into the barricade there, Shida. Shida down. Toni coming over. We got 9 minutes to go as Hikaru Shida goes into the ring. Godfather So said, very bad tummy ache. Too much of that in your house smoke. Very bad toxins come out when I emptied my butt. Did I miss the main event? R.I.P. Hugh Jass. No, but this is the main event. This is the main event. Austin, hello. Austin, hashtag J Dethrones Roman said, Days, do you think Britt Baker needs to start putting on great matches? I feel like she's in the same situation as Bray, where fans constantly criticize them for their in-ring work. Yeah, I think she does need some good... I mean, it's been a while since we've seen Britt having like some bangers, or at least that's how it feels to me. She's sort of... I suppose it's difficult because she was the woman in this company. And now there's been some people like Toni that have come in, and Jamie probably more so, that have come and sort of replaced her. And that's fine. She's not in the spotlight anymore. You know, she's not around the title anymore. She can get back there and she can get back into that picture. I suppose that's part of it, isn't it? If you know that you're not needed really at the moment, like you're not in that conversation at the moment, do you just subconsciously go into a bit of a, I'll just get through. You know, if Toni was to say, look, I don't need you around the title right now. We're going with Toni. Want to have a look at Jamie Hayter. I want to have a look at such and such. Like, we will definitely get you back there, but just want to have a look at a few other women first. I wonder if subconsciously, that's probably not going to bring out the best in you, is it? It's probably not. I don't know. I wonder if it is a case that she's just sort of waiting for a bit of a better story to come along, because she hasn't really had anything in the way of great creative recently. Maybe if she had like a really good feud, something to really get her teeth into. I mean, they were doing this thing with her and like the Outcasts, so we kind of had that thing. But to be honest, when that was going on, I think the Outcasts were a bit cringe. And I don't think anyone came out of that looking brilliant, in my opinion. I think Toni has come out looking pretty good, what with her being the champ. But yeah, you know, probably that whole thing was a bit of a missed opportunity. So maybe she could have delivered a bit better in that feud. But I think if you was to get her into like a one-on-one feud with someone, that might bring out the best in her. Put her in a one-on-one feud. Put her in a story with someone. I don't even know what she's doing right now, if I'm going to be brutally honest. She might be in one, but I actually don't know what she's doing. But I would think put her in a one-on-one feuds. We know that she's capable of having some really great matches. We know she's capable on the microphone as well. And you know, let's get into the rhythm. Let's get into the swing of it. So yeah, does she need some great matches? Yeah, I'm not too worried about her. I'm not too worried about her because we have seen great matches out of her, and you know, she's been responsible for bringing through Jamie as well, and she's been around. I think the difference between her and Bray is that we haven't seen much out of Bray for a long time. I mean, he's had one match since he came back, and I don't think he'd had really many great matches before he left. He is capable of great matches, but don't know. I mean, like the strap match with Daniel Bryan might be the last great match that Bray had, and that was a long time ago now. That was a long time ago. So he is in desperate need of a great match. I don't feel like that same level of urgency is there for Britt Baker. But she could, there is criticism that's going around. I think the match with her and was it Taya Valkyrie? That was not well received at all. So yeah, and then of course there was the house show with her and Anna Jay, which caused a lot of commentary on social media as well. So she could do with it, but I don't know if she's had great creative, to be honest. German suplex. We was at commercial break. We got 4 minutes to go. Big Time said, I think the women not from WWE could benefit from PC or more house shows so they can get their reps. Jarrett said, Bray was good when he was Eater of Worlds and when he was with the Wyatt family. Then it came Firefly Funhouse and The Fiend and Uncle Howdy and cartoon character, and it destroyed the character and credibility. Shots coming in by Shida. Skiller said, I need Kenny to go on a solo run. I love Kenny as a solo run. I love him as a singles competitor. What he is capable of, I just don't think many people are capable of. His in-ring match quality is... I know that like Jim Cornette lays into him, doesn't see it, but I've said before, I mean, I don't listen to Jim Cornette all the time, but I get recommended a lot of his video clips because I watch so much wrestling stuff. I get recommended like loads of different wrestling podcasts and bits and bobs. And some things I agree with and some things I don't. And I think like his criticism of Kenny is something I don't agree with. His opinions on women's wrestling is something I don't agree with as well. But I'd definitely like to see Kenny have a singles run. I'm sure we will. I mean, they've just re-signed, haven't they? So I'm sure it's going to be more of the Elite, more of Kenny as a single star, more of him and the Bucks as a trios, him and Hangman. It's going to be more of all of that stuff. Toni charging over. Vicious hip attack to Hikaru there. DDT by Toni. 2. Shoulder up. It's a good little match, this. Good little match. Challenge was made and it's been accepted. Jack Perry, Rob Van Dam next week on Dynamite. That will be great. One of a kind. Toni pushing Shida. Shida responds with a big shot. Elbow strike coming back there by Toni. We're going to stick with this match for as long as it takes. We might have a little overrun here. Tony Schiavone said we're going to stick with this match for as long as it takes. Shots coming in by Toni. Storm, not calm. Big right hand coming back there by Shida. Toni Storm walloping Shida. Little kicks coming into the head there by Toni Storm. Storm going against the ropes. Went for a big kick. Shida moved out the way. Knee strike. Toni Storm goes down. She gets picked up. Oh, Falcon Arrow. 1, 2. Kick out by Toni Storm. This is the current champ taking on a former champ. Both with a lot of experience when it comes to having matches of this kind of caliber. Kendo stick is thrown into the ring. Both Shida and Toni Storm grabbing that kendo stick. She can't use it. Toni Storm goes down to her knees and she's urging Hikaru Shida to you. You can't throw it away. She wallops Ruby with it and Saraya. Don't pose with it, you idiot. Oh, spray in the face. Oh. It's a bit of a shame, bit of a sorry way to end. Shoulder up, though. Shoulder up. Toni Storm's like, lip. So Shida is momentarily blinded. I like the fact it didn't end there. Shida 1, 2, 3. Shida wins. And no. Oh, wow. Credit. I was like, oh, it's such a shame to end it with her spraying in the face and a distraction. It's the main event, all this kind of stuff. Confetti raining down. Shida has done it. Wow. 2-time AEW Women's World Champion. There you go. That's why it main evented. She carried the banner of AEW during the pandemic. I'm shocked, man. I did not expect Shida to win that at all. I don't know if there was rumors of that. I don't know if people were expecting that. I wasn't expecting that. I don't hate that. I like both women, actually. I like Toni. I like Shida. Shida in absolute tears. She was actually a good champion during the pandemic. She was a good champion. Do you know what? Really good. Really, really good. I don't know if I've seen a better Dynamite this year than that. I don't know if I've seen a better Dynamite. Really, really good. Really good. No, like, silliness. Not perfect. there's definitely, you know, bits during that triple threat match. And I didn't quite get the Jericho, you know, stuff with like him using the baseball bat and it being this big drama, because that's what Jericho does. He cheats. But yeah, there was some really good action in there. Really good moments. Really good segments. I'm like probably 7.75, knocking on like a door to an 8. It missed a supernatural moment. Scores. Let's get your scores. I mean, we got Rob Van Dam and we got a new champion. 7-2-7-7-5. 6-2-6-7-5. 5-7-5. Or below. Below. Getting your scores. Getting your scores. I'm going to do a super quick video. I mean, listen, the fact that I always look for talking points. The fact that I've done 3 videos tonight, that means a lot. The fact that there's been 3 things that I've personally felt, oh, I think people would be interested in that. You know, Rob Van Dam being on the show, amazing. MJF Adam Cole announced as the main event of the Wembley show. And people will be interested in that. And now this. Huge moment coming out of AEW Dynamite. In fact, this is how the 200th episode of Dynamite concluded. We have got a brand new champion, and that person is Hikaru Shida. Toni Storm has lost the AEW Women's World Championship. Hikaru Shida, as you can see on the graphic on screen, becoming a 2-time AEW Women's World Champion. I don't know if this was rumored anywhere. I certainly was not expecting this. It was a really fun little match in the main event. And they proper caught me as well, because towards the end of the match, Toni actually sprays in the face of Hikaru Shida using that kind of green paint spray can. And I made the comment on the live stream that this is a disappointing way for like this match to end, because it had been such a fun match. But Hikaru Shida kicked out. It is not how the match ended. And she actually then went on to win the match and become a 2-time AEW Women's World Champion. Really good main event. I think both women are credible champions. I think Toni was a really good champ. I think Hikaru Shida during the pandemic was also a fantastic champion. And it's really great that they've gone back to her. I don't know what we're building towards, what matches we're going to get. I don't know what the plan is. You would have to think we've done this for a reason, because we're so close to that Wembley show. And we're so close. I mean, whether Hikaru Shida can get through London and then get through All Out and still remain champion, that's going to be a tough task. But clearly they've got something in mind here. And they felt a need to put the belt on Hikaru Shida for it. So, yeah, very good. We've got a brand new AEW Women's World Champion. Ba, 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 ba. Well done, Shida. Well done. Do you think Adam Cole wins at Wembley? It probably means Paige wins in her own country against Shida. Good point. Good point. Have we done it so we can do Saraya versus Shida? Good point. She might not win, Saraya, but I think it's a good point that she could be competing, because she can't really compete against Toni Storm, can she? So, good point. Do I think Adam Cole wins? I don't know. I think they might stick with MJF, actually. They might stick with MJF. I think Adam Cole is a future AEW World Champion, but I sort of feel like MJF has been champ for a little while now. He's had it long enough where you could take it off him, but I sort of feel like for a lot of this year, we've been a bit critical that he hasn't really been a great champ. The ratings have been flat and they haven't really done much of interest. I actually think this feud with Adam Cole is by far the best thing we've done since MJF has been champion. And it'd be a real shame to just take the belt off him now after it's been so good. It's given us a glimpse of what we can do. So I would actually keep the belt on MJF now. The longer this goes, you know, he is someone that we absolutely need to be investing in. If you look at what we've just done with Roman, where Roman's had it for like 3 years, I'm not saying we do that with MJF, but I certainly don't feel like, oh yeah, we've got to get it off him. I don't have that urge like, oh, we've got to get it off him. I think we can run with this for a while. Hikaru, Shida. Hikaru Shida beats Toni Storm. Kieran, shout out to you, my friends. Appreciate the support. Appreciate it. Getting your thoughts. I'm just uploading this quick little video, and then I will jump into the poll, see what people are saying, see what the word on the street is, see if people enjoyed it like I enjoyed it. Maybe I'm out of touch. Perhaps people thought it was garbage. Perhaps people are like, oh, you like this? This was garbage. This was one of the worst shows. We'll find out. Big Time said AEW can have a real good show from time to time. They don't reap the rewards and get a nice bump. Maybe not being consistent is the problem. Yeah. Consistency is very much their problem. Although they're very consistent at getting about 850,000 people watching Dynamite each week. But I would definitely argue that the quality of the Dynamites are very inconsistent. I don't know. It's hard. I mean, the bottom line is it's hard. And I think that's something fans forget. Or, you know, it's hard. It's really hard. Like, as we said, you know, everyone is fighting for views and likes and attention and it's hard. It's I said before, like WWE say that their competition is like video games and it's Netflix, and you know, when that comment was made, a lot of people scoffed and they were like, well, no, it's not. Your competition is AEW or what, you know, but it's not. Their competition is anything that takes viewers away from them. Their competition is all of that stuff. It's sports, it's NFL. You know, NFL has a massive effect on ratings, as we know. Sport has a big effect on ratings, so we know that impacts things. So yeah, all of that stuff definitely plays a part. So it is difficult. It is really hard. This is a fight. It is a battle. It's nothing is given. Nothing can be expected. No, there are no guarantees. They've built themselves a nice fan base, though, a good fan base, a good number, you know, consistency at that 850 mark. I mean, that's good. That is good. It's not Raw and it's not SmackDown. But for this startup company, which has largely picked up people that have been let go from NXT or people they've had to build up themselves from the indies, and certainly a few sprinkling of bigger names like your Jerichos, like your Omegas, like your Sorayas, but I don't think she's done a great deal, to be honest, ratings-wise. But largely, you know, it's and a few people that got let go from WWE's main roster. But, you know, I mean, this is very much a cobbled together band of brothers. So for them to have like a consistent 850 mark, that's not bad. it's, you know, it's not what they would want. They would want a bit more, of course, you know, and the fans have decided that the million is the benchmark, right? So no, not basing that on anything. Just the fans have decided they like the number 1 million and that's what it should be. So, yeah, I think that it's difficult. This is hard. There's a lot of people putting in a lot of work to try and put out the best products possible. And, you know, the results they're getting are the results they deserve, basically. And that is 850. That is the amount of people that they have got interested in watching the show. So the number doesn't lie, does it? But it is true, they are capable of some very good segments, very good shows, some very good content, some very good stuff. And this was one of those weeks. Kieran said, I can't wait for SummerSlam. Roman versus Jay. Millennial, same, Kieran. Millennial said, Days, hit row. I would draft top dollar to jail like Dom or Tony. Let him be in there for a few years and then come back as top crypto. Top crypto. He could come back when crypto comes back. And it might not ever come back, I'm not sure. But if it does come back, he could come back then. They don't need to turn Cole or MJF heel. They just have Punk try and cost MJF the title. But Roddy costs Cole instead. Then do MJF Punk and Roddy Cole at All Out, says Jay. A.B. Jobson said Kip Sabian re-signed. Yes! Yeah! Woo! Come on! Now we get to that million. Now we get there. Ah, you're worried now, aren't you, WWE? You're worried now? That is not the news that they would have wanted. Woo! Kip Sabian has re-signed. That's AEW punching Vince McMahon in the face. Big news. Big news. Pumped, man. Pumped. Well, they're going to need another brand, aren't they? Won't they need another brand? Because, like, they're going to need him to main event, like, a third show. Perhaps you make, like, Rampage the Kip Sabian show. Don't know, man. Don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. That's going to be exciting. They've already announced MJF and Adam Cole as the main event, haven't they? How are we going to get Kip Sabian into that? How are we going to get Kip Sabian into the main event unless they make it like a triple threat? We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. Very exciting. Right, let's go to the scores. So, scores 8 to 10, 48%, 7 to 7, 7-5, 34%, 5-7-5 below was 9%, and 6 to 6-7-5 was 7%. People really enjoyed it. People really enjoyed it. So, what's this? 78, 82, 82% of people thought this was 7 or above. With slightly more being in the 8 to 10 bracket than the 7 to 7-5 bracket. Delivered, man. It delivered. Just like my local Indian restaurant. It delivered. James said it is bigger than the Elite re-signing. I can't believe when they turned to Hangman, they said you got some news, and he like selfishly spoke about himself. Why didn't he not do that and tell us about the Kip Sabian news? Don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. Sometimes they do stuff I just don't get, and that's one of them. He told us about the Elite re-signing. He didn't tell us about Kip Sabian. Bizarre. Bizarro world. Right. I'm going. I am going. Appreciate the support. What's this, Mitchell? Do you agree with Cornette on Orange Cassidy calling him Pockets and saying his matches suck and he's not a draw? Well, I don't think Pockets is a bad name, is it? I think he could have called him something a lot worse. So I don't think Pockets is bad. He does put his hands in his pockets. So as a little nickname, I don't think that's bad. His matches, saying his matches suck. I think they've done a lot of work on that front. I think where I struggle with him is I don't mind it out the ring. I think there's real value in someone that can't be bothered. I've said this all along. I think that is a character we haven't seen. And you know, to have a character we've not seen in wrestling, I think is good, original, and interesting. For me, I don't know. For me, the character is, don't want to be here. Don't want to be here. Can't really be bothered. Like Monday morning feeling, you know, like, you know, shrugging. You know, they asked him to design his entrance thing. Instead, he's just written like, put fun picture here. You know, put exciting picture here, rather than actually going and doing it. He's just dialed it in. And I think there's something really relatable about that. So all the stuff he does outside the ring, where he's like shrugging and like, yeah, whatever. I kind of think like, if that's the character, like can't really be bothered Monday morning kind of stuff, that's pretty fun. And I think there's stuff you can do with that. And I don't think we've done enough with that, to be honest, because that might not even be his character, but that's how it came across to me. The bit where I don't like it is when the bell sounds and he's in a match and he's competing, and then he will, you know, keep his hands in his pockets and like do his little kicks, and he can't be bothered even when the match starts. I understand like that people go to hit him and he gets out the way and whatever. So I can vibe with that, but there's been moments where he'll do something silly and then he'll pay for it during the match, and I just find myself thinking like, why did you do? You knew that was going to happen. Why did you do that? Why did you do that? Why did you do that? Why did you stand there giving him these little kicks that you know aren't going to hurt him, and then you ended up getting absolutely walloped, right? And now you're getting beaten up now. And it's your own fault. And I find it hard to get behind someone that's got that level of stupidity about them. So, and, you know, if I'm struggling with it, someone like Jim Cornette's definitely struggling with it. So I sort of think, like, I don't know if he's quite worked out what the character is himself. I don't know. I don't know if he's kind of, because if I had that character, that's how I would look at it. I would look at it as it's Monday morning, can't really be bothered. And I think everything he's done out the ring, or nearly everything, I'm sure I could find stuff that wasn't great, but near enough everything he's done fits that character and makes sense. And I think you could go, yeah, that's pretty fun. But then when the bell sounds, I think that's where you've got to step it up, you know. You could part of his actual getting into the ring process could even be someone giving him a couple of slaps to like get him fired up, get him going. Like, okay, yeah, I'm ready. And then he gets in and the bell sounds, and then like, let's have a look at him actually competing and wrestling and seeing what his skills are like. But what I will say is that I feel like in recent times, past, I don't know, 12 months or so, I feel like during the match side of things, they have dialed down. I feel like there has been an effort to kind of turn down the silliness, although it's still very much there, and increase his actual wrestling and moves and wrestling ability. This international championship has really been used as a way to show that he can compete and he can wrestle. And he has got something about him. And so I would say that he is someone that is... I don't think we've explored his character enough. I think that he's someone that actually may have gone a little stale for a lot of people, because he's been doing this same thing since AEW started back in like 2019. And I think that it's been like 4 years now, and we haven't really had any evolution of his character. There's nothing new. He's still putting his hands in his pockets. He's still doing what he did. The only evolution is that I think his in-ring is showcased a bit more now. So that's a bit of a positive step. But I definitely think we need evolution there. We need something more there. We need something more. It's definitely time for something more. So do I agree with when he says that? I think that Jim Cornette can throw the baby out with the bathwater, in the sense of, I think for a lot of wrestlers, and let's take Orange Cassidy, I think there is some good stuff there, and I think there is some frustrating stuff there, and I think someone like Jim will look at the frustrating stuff and everything goes out the window. Doesn't matter, not interested, that sucks, and everything goes out the window. Whereas I'd like to think I'm a bit more, yeah, I don't like that, and I know why I don't like it, but then there's stuff here that I can see has got value, and so, you know, let's keep that, and let's change this, and then we could be somewhere quite interesting. I think that's quite a constructive way to look at it. Whereas I think Jim doesn't need to look at it that way. He doesn't need to, does he? He doesn't need to look at it that way, because for him, it's just garbage. Throw it out. Throw it out. You know, like Kenny. He's not interested in what Kenny does because Kenny's wrestled a blow-up doll, and that's it. Doesn't matter now. Doesn't matter what Kenny does. He wrestled a blow-up doll. He disgraced wrestling. Throw it out. Yeah, but he had this banger at wrestling. Don't care. He wrestled a 9-year-old girl. Throw it out. Gone. So I think that Jim's at a point where he can be that way. And listen, he's entitled to his opinion, and I can understand where he comes from. And I genuinely think it comes from a place of honesty as well. I think, you know, I don't listen to every one of his podcasts, so I don't know if his opinions have changed, okay? So I might be saying all this, and people might be like, no, he was saying that last year, you're out of date, right? Maybe I am. But from what I've heard, that's how he can be. And he doesn't need to be any other way, because, you know, he is giving up his time. He's been in wrestling his whole life. He's giving up his retirement time now to watch wrestling. And if something does irritate him, why does he need to give anyone benefit of the doubt? You know, he doesn't need to, does he? So is he being unfair? It's for you to decide. That's for you to decide. Right, I'm off. I said goodbye a little while ago, and I'm off now. Appreciate the support. As always, we are not back tomorrow, but we are back on Friday for SmackDown. And of course, we're doing the massive watch along on Saturday. It's going to be hours and hours and hours long on Saturday for SummerSlam.